Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast on the 28th of June, 2016, in the year of our Lord, the God Emperor of Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
He is here. Somewhere. He's hiding.
Somewhere out there.
He's been here throughout history.
Yeah.
That's what the 40k law says, and I choose to believe that that is true.
It's like Feifel Goes West. He's somewhere out there.
Oh, stop.
Isn't it? Wait, hold on. Feifel Goes West is the second movie.
Yeah.
We're talking about America.
God, I saw that film like 20 fucking times when I was a kid.
Right,
Does it
because that was a good-ass movie.
Doesn't Jesse remind you of that big cat? That big, like, sassy cat from
Oh, the sassy Western.
the second? Yeah. He's like he runs a whorehouse, but he's a cat.
I can't exactly. Is that the big fat, like, awful one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does remind me of him.
If
Yeah,
by
right.
awful you mean one of the best characters, then yes.
Yes, an
He
endearing.
was a deeply flawed being, though.
Wait, didn't
Right.
they make him like the guy's like, I'm a cat. What's oh, jeez. I'm so afraid. I'm gonna. Like, what?
I feel like that's the voice of your id, man.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. I'm the cowardly lion. Do you like that's who I am?
You're the cowardly lion running a whorehouse. Yeah.
I could believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and Fievel's sister got like taken in as a weird like bar dancer.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if you think
we can
about
call
it-
it a whore.
If you think about it in
Sister
detail,
became a
those
whore.
movies are seriously fucked up.
Yeah.
If you look beyond the surface.
Yes.
It's like Upton Sinclair for kids. Serious. Gotta look at how the sausage is made, man.
Sometimes it's best that you don't. Welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. We occasionally talk about video games. Our sponsor for this week's show is Crunchyroll.com. Crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. Go get yourself a free trial for unlimited anime. And Audrey, what have you been watching on Crunchyroll this week, other than everything?
Yeah, the last season of shows is pretty much up, unless they're a long form. So that's been pretty awesome. Finished up Mayoiga, which is just fucking garbage. If you'd like to watch,
Okay.
feel free to watch.
Great
that.
endorsement there. It's like, this is a terrible show.
Well, look, let's be real. About 50% of the people watching right now are like, it's garbage. I have to watch it. I have to know why. Why is it garbage? What went wrong? But some real good shows. Tanaka-kun is always listless, just ended, and that was just the purest, most adorable show that I've watched in a long time, and I'm so sad that it's over. I hope that it gets a second season. It's about a dude who doesn't want to do nothing. It's great. It's
Awesome.
such a like sleepy.
That's definitely
lovely
something that we can all
show.
relate to.
Kid in class who's like, I just want to sleep, and I'm like, I feel you. I get that.
Do you ever feel like breaking down?
From time to time, yes. I've been watching Terraform Mars. That was interesting. Still,
Right.
one of my guilty pleasures is watching awful, absolute rubbish Watch Mojo top 10s. And every now and again,
You're part of the problem.
I know, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm one of those millions of people giving them views and keeping them alive. I'm sorry.
Did you see the one that I was in?
No.
What is it?
I know
Top
they nick
10?
my footage on a fairly regular basis.
Top 10 gamer ladies on the internet.
Top
or
10
I think
overrated people
Top 10
in life.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
lookalikes.
I think I was in one of them as well, actually.
Top 10
like top
overrated
10
Justin Bieber lookalikes.
YouTube
Yeah,
reviewers
I
or
was in
something.
that
I don't
one.
know.
I was number 5. I was deeply honored.
There you go. Congratulations. But
You'll never.
in one of these lists, they did. It was like either top 10 terrifying anime monsters or top 10 like gruesome kills. It's got both of those things in it. It gives me this Attack on Titan vibe. It's a series where, for some reason, there are giant evolved cockroaches on Mars now. And now, yes. I mean, I assume that didn't happen previously. This is a very
Right.
recent development.
Right.
And now there's a nasty alien virus that can't be cured that is killing people on Earth. Will eventually wipe out the population, most likely. So, of course, the solution to this is we're going to go to Mars and get the cure. Oh, fuck, every unmanned probe we send there always mysteriously disappears. We should send some people. But we should send some people with bug powers that have been genetically...
Yes.
engineered with the properties of various bugs.
What is the show called?
Oh my god, is this Common Writer?
Terraform Mars. So it's like terraformers, but with Mars.
Terraform Mars.
Terraform Mars. So they send 100 like genetically engineered people, and basically everyone starts dying real fucking fast. Like, if there is plot armor, I have yet to see it, because the people I assumed were main characters got their spines ripped out after about 20 seconds of being on screen. It's violent as fuck, but it's also an insect lesson. They teach you a lot about insects in this show. They really do. Every time they unveil a new insect power, they go into a little anthropology lesson about the history of this insect and what it can do in the wild and what would happen if you scaled that up to human size. And it's like, and they're very serious about it as well, you know, which is hilarious when they get into stuff like, it's like, the silk moth is like the ultimate thing. It's like, this is what the silk moth can do. And then there's someone murdering these bugs with silk moth powers and all this shit.
Whoever made this knew exactly what they wanted to make.
I think they really did.
They're gonna have bug powers, and I'm gonna teach people about bugs.
And I wish that there were more violent shows to watch. Fuck, how can I just combine these?
And one of the guys isn't genetically engineered with a bug, he's engineered with a plant. So they tell us about the plant.
There's just a plant guy. Just
hallucinogenic plant. He has hallucinogenic plant powers.
I want everyone after this. Don't watch it now. Don't go now. After the podcast is over, go YouTube Terraform Mars. Akari versus.
Oh my god.
Akari versus Desert Grasshopper.
Yeah.
It is a fight on a jet plane, on the top of a jet plane.
Oh, that fight. That's good.
A man
on Mars.
On Mars, yes.
A man fights a grasshopper man.
There are several jet planes on Mars.
The dialogue at the end of this literally is, I'm pretty sure that was the effect of inertia. There's a lot of things you need to learn about science. Unlike language studies. That's the last line of this video. That's how this fight ends. Go watch it. I won't spoil anything.
It's bonkers. It's so bonkers. Like, half of it is the sort of Attack on Titan, like, tragic backstory of the characters, and the other half of it is either them getting their heads ripped off or them shredding giant cockroach beetle things with insect powers. Terraform Mars. It's well worth watching. Watch the uncensored version if you have the stomach for it. If you're okay with watching people's spines get ripped out, then yeah, because there's a lot of that.
Also, ReZero continues to be fantastic.
What is that all about? I heard good things.
ReZero, oh god, I don't know. It's one of those shows where I don't know how to describe it without spoiling what makes it really cool. Like, it's about a dude who gets teleported into a fantasy world, and he's like a big nerd, so he's like really excited.
That sounds
about
like Gate.
And he meets a cute girl, and
Still
blah,
Gate.
blah, but then a thing happens, and you're like, what the fuck? And then the show is like really interesting after that. Please, the way that Crunchyroll, I know it's hard to describe without it sounding so generic and stupid, but I promise it's good. And the reason that I say that is because when I did my season first impressions, I was like, this show's garbage. It's going to be just like boring bullshit. And then it wound up being fantastic because Crunchyroll split up. The first episode is an hour long, but they split it up into 2 episodes. So I watched the first half of the hour-long episode and was like, okay, I guess that was the thing that I watched. It's boring. Please, if you're going to give this show a try, please watch episode 1A and 1B and then decide. I think it's fantastic.
The minute we move on to games, I have a game that's basically that story that I played this week, and I need to get it off my chest because it's infuriating.
Well, I'd say it's most likely going to be now, but first, of course, we should introduce our special guest for the show today, Mr. Alex Fasciani, one half of the Beard Brothers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So what is it that you do on a regular basis? The answer is everything. From what I see, your Twitter bio is like novel length.
I'm one of those guys who doesn't have a real job. And so I mostly just do whatever I can do. I wrote for Game Theory for a while. I obviously do Beard Brothers. I have a Pokemon channel that's educational and often about bugs itself.
That's about bugs? Excellent.
Sometimes,
I'm into that right now.
They don't get like savaged, but
Oh,
It's like more of a cute thing.
I don't
but,
see
yeah.
Pikachu getting his spine ripped out by a giant bug.
No, that doesn't happen too much.
That's unfortunate.
But yeah, I'm a man of the internet. That's me.
Yeah, he's letting everyone know that Matt Pat does not do his own work.
No, he totally does. He totally does. I
More like scam Pat.
Ah,
oh my
Right?
god, Patgate. Yeah.
I'm not going to
I don't
make
know.
the actually joke because Dodger will find me and hurt me.
What?
Actually, it's about ethics and game theory.
You piece of shit.
Oh, jeez. Welcome, Alex, to the show. It's great to finally have you here. One of the denizens of the LA office.
Yeah. It's top secret LA compound that
We're
we have.
literally all in a row. It goes Alex and then Jesse and then me. All of our rooms.
Yeah. We literally could go just switch spaces right now. We literally could
Don't do
that.
it. We got the
Fire
levels
drill.
right earlier. You'll fuck with everything. Stop it.
So Alex, if you had to choose a character to represent your id, who would it be and why?
But it has to be from American Tail.
It does.
Actually,
The
you have to
dad.
choose a bug. Like
Okay,
an
a
insect.
bug.
Dad. Oh.
Oh, the little mouse dad is like fight.
Yeah, that's me.
Dad spends every one of those movies being upset and distraught because his children are missing. Always.
That's how I would be if my children were missing. That's how, you know.
Valid point.
Yeah,
Valid point.
that's me.
Very
Uh,
cool.
what's the name of the? Sorry, this is off topic. What's the name of that game that just came out? Or maybe it's in beta. It's the one. It's the RPG where there are like electricity mages.
What?
What?
Chat, help me out. That's the name of it.
That is a very vague description.
It has
No,
like
electricity
it has a
mages.
name. It sounds like it's for a completely different game, but it's like a sci-fi RPG where there are electricity mages. What is it called? Shit.
I don't.
Technomancer.
Oh, Technomancer.
Oh, Technomancer. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
It's awful.
Yes. Absolutely
God.
awful.
Tell me everything.
Well,
Holy
I mean, I've played it for about 2 hours because that's about as much as I could stand of it. I've had review code for a while. It's by a company called Spiders, who have made two really bad RPGs, that being Mars Warlogs and Bound by Flame. This is their third bad RPG, and for some reason people assumed this time they would get it right. They did not. They absolutely did not. The voice acting is unbelievably ridiculous. The naming of the characters is what fucking gets me. The actual guy's last name is Mancer.
Like Technomancer.
His first name is not Techno, but his last name is Mancer.
It should be.
Zachariah
Mancer
Mancer
right?
is his
Zach
name.
Mancer.
Zach Mancer.
Zach
Zach
Mancer. Yeah. The combat system is clunky as shit. It has random slow-mo effects for seemingly no reason. You know how, like, in Batman, there's a slow-mo effect at a specific point in the combo, so it kind of makes perfect sense for it to be there? No, they just throw it in whenever the fuck they feel like it. Like, the game just slows down at random for, like, no reason at all. The writing is just astonishingly bad. Comically bad, actually. You know, I think it's like Let's Play worthy for this is really terrible and we can mock it. But as an actual game, so far, I mean, I'm going to have to persist more in it to eventually look and see if there's anything redeemable about it at all. But as it stands, that game is just terrible.
And that's so disappointing.
Yeah, because the setting's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
But it's...
Electricity mages, y'all. Yeah.
All right.
You can zap people, and you got this weird decision about whether or not you kill people, even though, by the way, one of your attacks is a gun. Apparently, all of your attacks knocks people out anyway. So you get to choose when they die whether or not you drain their fluids. And you apparently by doing this, you kind of
fluids?
yeah, pretty much you can power yourself up. So there's sort of a weird moral choice thing, but it's with every single enemy corpse. But we're supposed to believe that everyone's just being KO'd by the gun and the lightning, and it's like, sure,
90s movie.
yeah, why not? Sure. No, that is a not good game in my experience thus far. I will keep
Okay.
playing it when I can be fucked.
I too would like to jump in on this not good game category.
Wonderful.
Okay.
What you got for us?
So I think it was yesterday. I don't even remember. My brain's dead. I played Stranger of Sword City.
Okay.
Oh my god, I saw this. I saw you doing this, and I was laughing my ass off.
So Stranger of Sword City, here's the premise. It's very anime for Dodger. Basic gist is,
It's a J dungeon crawler, basically.
yeah, it has the same sort of layout as like Grimrock would have, where you're
Okay.
just sort of like moving forward. So you are a person who was on a plane, and your plane crashed in a crazy alternate reality world, and you're the only survivor. And the area that you're crashed into is known as the Mausoleum of Metal, which is an awesome name for a dungeon, but it's basically where it's a hole between our reality and their reality. And every so often, human beings fall in. But in this world, human beings are like superpowered because it is low gravity and all the other shit that makes it superpowered, whatever. And you and some humans are known as chosen ones, and they have the power to suck out the life force of monsters in this world to keep them from coming back to life. And then they can use that power to upgrade themselves. Da, da, da. The monsters, of course, are all like, it's a fucking toad with a penis tongue and like all that.
Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course it is. What
And
else would it be?
the first person who finds you, of course, is a very attractive girl in a schoolgirl outfit, but with like a metal dragon like shoulder pad. And
Naturally.
so she's like and she has a giant sword, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to show you how to get by in this world." And so she takes you to Sword City, where a bunch of other humans
Sword City.
Sword City, where a bunch of other humans live with all the different people from that world, like Migmies, which are little tiny like pygmy people, and there's all these different races, dwarves, all that shit. But the humans are super powered and can do whatever they want. The voice acting is, at least from what I saw, was all Japanese and whatever. Here's all you need to know. I go out for the tutorial mission. The tutorial mission. And I come across a random pack of enemies, and it's rat people and a little fairy girl with a few little fairy girls with holding teddy bears. Like they're holding teddy bears in their hands.
Okay.
Fairies have an ability not only to heal but also to cast a void, so they just start the chance to hit them is minimized, right? So what happened is I start going to this battle, I start killing them off, but because they keep casting a void, my characters keep missing. Well, eventually I get down to one little girl left. She has so many casts of a void on her. Her void is so high, and her level is just higher than what I'm normally able to hit. I cannot kill her. So all my characters are swinging.
This
and
is in the
miss.
tutorial.
Yeah, and this is miss. And then every time someone hits, she goes, heal, and heals herself more than my ability to hit. So eventually I ran out of mana, so none of my casters could do. I have no magic regen because it's the fucking tutorial. I have 3 potions. I can't. There's nothing to do. And she keeps. And every time I'm like, all right, well, I'll just hit her. She casts another a void, and then it's like, all right, well, none of my guys can hit her that round. And then she's like, okay, she'll attack me, and then I'll go to try and hit her, and then she'll just do another void. And if I finally do hit her, she goes, heal. It's literally 15 minutes of me just going like this with my head down, just spamming the Y button as because Y just repeats everything you're doing really, really quickly, just over and over and over and over and over as my team slowly whittles down and dies. Because there's nothing I can do. It's the tutorial. The fucking tutorial. I don't know what the game's about. I literally died and gave up. I was like, you get to Sword City, you meet people, and they're like, yo, what up? I'm going to tell you how to do stuff and show you around this world. Let's go do that. That's all I got in the story. That's literally all I know of the story, because the minute I went outside to the dungeon to go to the Mausoleum of Metal to train, to learn basic game mechanics, the game was like, hey, fuck you. I was just like, I can't. It was the most painful experience of my life. I will never go back to that game. I can't even.
It's like Shin Megami Tensei. Stay
Yeah.
away.
Oh, dude.
And the best part was, it's like you should, like everyone's like, you could just run from this battle. I'm like, why would I run from a battle in the fucking, it's the tutorial. It's the tutorial.
I mean, to be devil's advocate for that, stuff like, J dungeon crawlers and like hardcore JRPGs often have fights early on that you're not supposed to be able to beat until you've sort of ground it out a little bit.
And I would understand that. No, I would agree with you. I think that's true. The problem with this fight was, it was, one, this girl was a mob I've encountered before. Two, in that fight, there were 5 other versions of her, plus a bunch of other guys, and I killed all of them except for that one. So the fact that it was the exact same, like, it wasn't reskinned, it wasn't a different color, it wasn't like a special version of it. It was the exact same mob as the 4 other versions of her I killed in the same encounter. So it was like, if it was a special one, it should have been like, oh, well, I'm green shaded, so I'm a little different. And so, like, oh, you better run from this one. Because, like, there was none of that. It was, I'm fighting the same thing I fought the last 5 minutes in this battle, and 15 minutes later, I still can't kill her. Like, that was so frustrating. Like, it's just, it was a random encounter. It wasn't even like a monster appeared, like, because, they had that giant fucking Hydra with, like, little TVs coming out of it or whatever that you fought early on. That was a big boss, and so like it was a big boss, and you figure, all right, well, that's something. But yeah, it was one level 21 mob in a pack of level 10s, but there was no reskin, there was no it was just a weird. Yeah, there was nothing about it that said it was different until halfway through the fight when I see, it says level 21. Well, okay, like
why is that level 21 in a pack of level 10s? Like, what's the purpose of that?
I couldn't even, my soul ached. I was so mad. I was like, I'm done. I'm never going to play this game again.
I wonder if that's just what the level that game is on. I wonder if that game is just like, fuck you. Just fucking do it.
For a lot of J dungeon crawlers, definitely. There's a lot of that. Like, no doubt. It is a thing of Japanese RPGs. I think people have kind of forgotten that lately because some Japanese RPGs are very kind of westernized in terms of like the difficulty curve and shit like that. But then along comes a game like this, like, no.
It's teaching you how to be a better you.
Yeah, it's weird because I understand the whole like Japanese system of grinding. Shit, I played JRPGs all through PlayStation. That was my life. So like PSX, that's all I did was play JRPGs. I didn't play anything else. So I get like when I RPG, people hate me for this. Like even in Western RPGs like Witcher and stuff, I'll be 6-7 levels above where I need to be when I go to the encounter. Like I know how shit works. You got to grind or else you're dead. But the problem is that this thing was it was a random encounter. It was just a random fight. And that's the shit. I'm like, how do I combat this?
Well, it's funny, right? Because this is one of those things like maybe, 15 years ago, even maybe 10 years ago, even like a game has something like this and you're like, oh, whoa, this game's just like, it's like, this game's hardcore. But now it's like, it's different. Like, I mean, granted, we play a lot of games to get, just because that's our job to play. And it's hard to like give ourselves to a game every time we play one. But like, it's funny, like how much that I'm like completely on your side. Like that's so like juvenile of a thing to put at the beginning of a game. It's just like, oh, well, you have to learn how to like think outside the box, but it's like, it's the tutorial.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird, like how that's changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's a tutorial, at least have a main character, like the guy who's with you, the samurai dude who's with you should pop up and be, hey, this looks like a tough fight. You should leave. At least tell you to escape.
Yeah, like
none of that.
Sometimes they're going to be more powerful, so leave now. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. Yeah,
because it looks pretty.
Oh yeah, the art style looks phenomenal.
The art style, the character, like you can select maybe from 100 different character models at the beginning of what your character looks like. So I was a badass, like red bearded dwarf guy. I had a great time. It was so cool up until the point I actually had to go do the combat. I was like, fuck this game. Everything else about it was fun. I don't
want to try it just to see if you like had weird glitchy bad luck.
I have no clue. But yeah, aside from the combat, it's basically a dating sim. Like you would love it. For 90% of what I did on stream was me reading text, and then only like it just keeps going and going, and then it's like, hey, now there's another girl who shows up, like, hi, I'm Anna, and I'm just a little girl who has a cell phone for a weapon. It's like, cool, all right,
sure,
great, and then everyone teaches you about the world. They try to teach you about shit that makes no sense, because you have to go kill monsters and suck out their souls so that you can then have divinity or some shit. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. It's like every Final Fantasy where it starts out like, long ago, the Lassie and the Falsey. You're like, what the fuck is even happening? That's this game.
It's a lore dump, as well I like to call it, where they just drown you in the game's lore all at once.
Sword City.
Yeah, Sword City.
I wouldn't live in a place called Sword City. I don't think that's it's like, no, I'd pick, like, I don't know, Calm Town.
Yeah, Chillville.
Yeah, Chillville.
In Oregon, not only do we have a town called Boring, we also have a town called Tired. So maybe you should be living in Oregon.
Both of these sound like good places to be, honestly.
Yeah.
Tired. Lazy Town.
Lazy Town.
Lazy Town.
Oh, my.
That seems to be a little bit of a misnomer if the show is in any way based on real life.
They're not that lazy. Like, they seem to get quite a lot done in Lazy Town.
Yeah, they get a lot of exercise in Lazy Town.
Yeah.
They have their own Zeppelin, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake.
Yeah, right. They have pirates. Fucking pirates in Lazy Town. That's not lazy.
No, there's nothing lazy about that whatsoever. Like, far too much actually goes on in Lazy Town, really.
They should call it Goofy Town because, let's be real, that's what it is.
I think it's all the responsibility of the Lazy Town Tourist Board. They've misrepresented what the life is really like.
The Chamber of Commerce. In Lazy
What is Cake Girl up to now?
Baking pretty cakes, one assumes.
Oh, yeah. What is that actress? Who is she?
Lazy Town.
Lazy Town actress.
Dead?
Dead?
What?
No.
No.
Whatever happened to the Lazy Town girl?
Juliana. Okay, here she is.
Her name's Shelby Young. No, she was in the pilot.
I was going to say, you're not allowed to just go around saying that people died. That's
the first thing that popped up was is dead. And I was like, what? So I just panicked and said it out loud. I'm sorry.
Whoa. All right. First off, she was 13 when she moved to Iceland to film. Of course, it was in Iceland. Iceland's, of course, where this took place.
Lazy Town is in Iceland?
Yes. And
doesn't seem like it.
Now she lives in New York and works in education, and you can follow her on Twitter, and she looks like a normal human being, and it's great. Meanwhile, this is what I didn't know. Lazy Town continues in Iceland, and there's a new Stephanie. What?
What the fuck? A fake Stephanie?
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't even look like her.
It's like when Joe took over for Steve in Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
Pure scandal.
I bet she also plays for the Icelandic football team, just like every other member of that country.
There's only so many people in Iceland.
Are you?
Indeed.
You can't be mad at them, TV, for winning because
I'm not mad at all. I laugh at my stupid country for that. That's hilarious.
Their announcer guy losing his mind and going high pitched, going like, ah! Like, is hilarious.
We got our asses kicked
Hilarious.
by a country that has more volcanoes than professional football players. We are shit. It's like, we actually did not vote ourselves out of Europe. Europe voted us out, fucking X Factor style. The weakest link.
The EU gave you its rose?
Pretty much. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. You idiots. Video games. So, Alex, what have you been playing this week?
I've been like descending
into madness, apparently.
I've been descending. Well, that's what I was actually going to say. I've just been getting my ass beat in Street Fighter. The new characters and stuff got me to put it back in my PlayStation, and I've just been
Remaining.
Just learning. Karin is the one. I think I like her the most. I played Fei Long back in Ultra Street Fighter 4, and that's like the best I ever got at Street Fighter, probably. And so now I went away for a long time because it's a really aggressive game, and it feels like shit to lose like 10 matches in a row and like get your rep down to half what it was. But I'm getting hyped for all the new characters that are going to come out like in a couple days, so I'm picking it up again. Yeah. No, Jerry,
she's not for a while.
Yeah. It's Balrog and Ibuki.
Ibuki will be cool. I don't know. Well, they're both Evo legal, yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Look, if there's anything that I like, it's like a really, really like non-settled meta. Makes me excited. So it's gonna be great in Vegas.
Unstable meta.
My Jimmy's jamming. It's an unsettled meta.
Yeah.
Unsettled meta.
Unsettled meta.
When's Dan
we
coming?
just keep saying it. Unsettled meta.
It's like the beginning of a Singing in the Rain number. Mm-hmm. Moses supposes.
Unsettled metal.
What was it called? The Mausoleum of Metal?
The Mausoleum of Metal, yeah. Which is still a fantastic. Look, if there's one thing I'll take away from that game, it's that is the coolest name.
Was it like
for a dungeon?
Was it like a bunch of rotted out ships, or was it like the Mausoleum of like metal?
No, it was a bunch
I
of.
don't want to be buried in the Mausoleum of Metal.
It was a bunch of ratted out like planes that were crashed and buses and shit that was like sticking up out of the ground.
I guess I'm still into that, but
Oh no, I agree. It should have been like you walk in and it's just like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Street Fighter's been kicking my booty. That's really, and I remembered that Bloodborne is a game, and so I've been playing that a little bit more.
Did you ever beat it?
I got pretty close, and then I like went to go play it, and I sucked at it, so I like am playing my way back through, and I'm like halfway through again.
Dude, the DLC for Bloodborne, a lot of people consider to be like the best From Software like DLC add-ons ever.
Yeah, I grabbed it, so I'm ready to like, yeah. I'm trying to start streaming, so once I get that going, I'm gonna like probably do that on there. Old hunters, I'm ready. Come get it, bitch.
Get those fucking old hunters, yo.
You're old as fuck. Come get killed.
Get killed by the new meta.
Yeah, the new,
the unsettled meta.
Unsettled meta. Mausoleum of meta.
Unsettled meta.
The Mausoleum of Meta.
Mausoleum of meta.
Where strategies go to die.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh man, that'd be a great esports facility.
Mausoleum of meta.
Meta.
That's like
I
where you
love
go.
it.
That's like
Guys.
where you go smoke. It's like it's like the trash can outside where you go smoke.
Look, let's be real. Where they have Wednesday night fights right now for like the LA group, it's it's far away. So we need to build a new one.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Mausoleum meta.
You saw how this past week how everyone came out to go fight in the ring and they were like throwing money and they were like coming out and like
Dude, people were like flipping dollars and shit.
oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, stop.
The Mausoleum of Meta. First off, this building, the inside needs to have like statues with like holding lamps that sway in the wind, right? And the floor, whenever someone comes out, just we have to pay a Gregorian choir to sit there. Yes. And whenever a person comes out, it's a single spotlight on them, and it's like yes. And then when they get up to the arena, everything explodes in flame, and it's like that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
You know how a lot of places need to like double dip on what exactly they do. So this place is going to not only be a place for like fighting game tournaments, it's also going to be just a every single night different small metal bands get to like
here's the thing.
cut their
Yeah,
shit.
and outside the sign says Mausoleum of Metal, but the L is turned off when it's
It's like the bronze from Buffy.
Oh man, they really need to fix that light, and we're like, yeah, we'll get to it one day.
Yeah.
Mausoleum of Meta. Oh my God. Yep, that's it.
The
We
biggest
just need
metalhead out of the four of us is not laughing, and I feel like maybe we're missing a market.
no. That's because he's
I
like,
don't
holy
think you
shit,
really have
this
the
is great.
capability to
It's
market
because his
to it.
mind is blown and he can't.
Yeah, that's why it is. Yeah, absolutely.
I just
Quiet appreciation of this great joke.
Yeah, also a real Mausoleum of Meta would require several, like, this is at least an $80 million project.
Right.
I
yeah.
want this to, when you walk in, I want your mind to be blown.
Hey, there's a dilapidated jukebox factory down the road we could turn into the Mausoleum of Metal.
Shut.
Great.
There's not a dilapidated jukebox. We work near a jukebox factory.
I look. This might be like my imagination doing like 75% of connecting the dots, but I'm fairly certain that we do.
That's amazing.
Great.
Great.
Look, if ever there was somebody I trusted, it would be Miss Gauss.
Yeah, I know where the fucking old ass music machine factories are in your neighborhood.
Is that a show? Alex's old ass music factory.
I don't care where it is. I don't care how old it is. I'll put it on my map.
Visit my website now. oldassmusicfactories.us.
We now convert them into esports arenas.
.wet.
.wet.
.wet. By the way, do you know the Taco Bell website is ta.co? Were you aware of this? Were you aware of
How
that?
it should be. What?
ta.co. It's Taco Bell.
Finally in the future.
Sorry, I just thought that was really great.
Where are you in your browser right now that you're on the Taco Bell website?
No, I just remembered that, first off, look, there was a train of thought there that went from Dodger and I playing Life is Strange, where they have a .wet website thing.
Yeah,
They have a
yeah.
domain name .wet. And then we were laughing, and I remembered that this weekend I saw a little sticker that said ta.co, and it was Taco Bell sticker. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And I was informed that's not just cute. It's a factual thing. The Taco Bell website is, in fact, ta.co.
Anyway, yeah, I've been playing Street Fighter 5.
Mm-hmm. What else?
That's mostly what I've been up to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I finally sat down and played Valhalla. That game
That's the
is,
cyberpunk bartending sim thing, yes?
it is far more kinetic visual novel than it is management game, which I didn't expect.
Which is disappointing to me.
It's a little disappointing to me too. I still think that it's very fun. I love all of the characters. I love the way that each day of working at the bar progresses, kind of like a story arc that you don't pay a lot of attention to at first. I think the way it's written is great. But I do wish that the actual bartending part of the game had a bit more focus, if that makes sense.
Does it have any actual depth? Does it require you to do anything? Because this gave me a Papers, Please vibe on looking at it. I thought, that sounds cool, but it seems like it isn't that at all.
No, it's not. So it's the process when you're playing this game is somebody comes in, they talk to you for a little bit, and then they ask for a drink, and then you make them their drink. There's no time crunch. You know when you've messed up the drink because the drink shows up as just like a bunch of symbols. So you're like, oh, fuck, I messed it up. I'll try again. You can hit a reset button and just start over on the drink. And then you give it to them, and then there's more discussion, and then they ask for another drink. Normally, each person asks for 3 drinks overall. Depending on the person, they'll either just straight up ask you for a drink, or they'll be like really weirdly obtuse about it. Like, I want a drink that makes me think about the sunrise. And you're like, fuck, okay.
Is there strategy?
Tequila Sunrise.
No, you get a bonus at the end of the day if you manage to nail every drink.
What was the drink for Sunrise?
I
Sex
made
on the
that.
Beach.
Sure. There was one
Starry Night.
There was one point where a girl came in and said, I want a drink that has inspired controversy or something like that. And I remembered that a day earlier during a conversation, I had been like, oh yeah, they named that one drink Piano Woman because people were upset that there was only a drink called Piano Man, and they thought that there should also be a drink called Piano Woman.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, that was, so I like gave her a Piano Woman, and she was like, perfect, this is just what I wanted, right? Like,
Let me
every
post this
now
on
and
my
then-
Tumblr blog.
Every now and then they make you recall conversations that have happened before, or sort of like think outside of the box. There was a dude who came in and was like, what does the number 17 mean to you? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And he was like, give me a drink that makes you think of 17. And I was like, God fucking damn it. Like it. So sometimes it's very straightforward. Sometimes it's not. There's definitely a right answer every time. So you're like, okay. Every now and then you stress out a little bit about what drink you're going to get them. But
No, there's
overall, it
no-
doesn't affect the story at all.
It doesn't. So there's no real reason to make the right drink other than to just go to the next
Other
bit.
than to make sure that you get your bonus so that you can.
But what does the bonus get you?
So at the end of each day, you get to read all of the news articles that will help you get a better idea, a better picture of what's going on in the city and like the story arc that's happening. And then you can also buy things for your apartment, which will help you focus at work. I have no idea how not being focused affects the game because I've always just bought what she's wanted.
Okay.
I've always been able to buy whatever she wants, but if I didn't buy something, I don't know what it would do necessarily. So there are some things about the game that are very vague. Overall, it's just a kinetic visual novel, which in the community, kinetic is used to describe like a game that has no choices. There's nothing that you can do that will make the story pan out any differently.
Right.
The conversations are always going to be the same. As far as I can tell, nothing that I've done has affected anything. I've never made a terrible drink for somebody and had them be like, well, fuck you, and left. Like the conversation has just continued as normal.
Okay.
So, I really enjoy it for the characters and for the story. I wish that bartending mattered a bit more and that there was a bit more of a focus on it. So
I didn't play it, but it kind of gave me the same vibe as Read Only Memories. Did you play that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the same. That game is a slightly more open ended. It's like kind of like a point and click, but it has that same sort of like.
I feel like I've played that. And I can't
80s
remember
cyberpunk.
what it is.
It's like you're like kind of like following like a mystery. You have like this little tiny robot with you, and you just kind of like go around and try and solve this sort of like Chinatown style. Like it keeps going higher and higher murder, and there's like a lot of like LGBTQ kind of like themes in it.
Interesting. I don't know.
And it's like cyberpunk. It was cool. It was like a cool game, but I wondered if they were in any way similar because I like that game and I would play this.
There was one character who came in, spoilers. Look, I'll just put up my finger. Not that it matters all that.
I have a spoiler thing. It's cool.
Great.
Spoiler thing is now on. There you go.
Okay. So there's a character in the game who showed up on day 6, I think, named Streaming Chan. And she looked almost identical to me. And she was supposed to be like the future version of streaming, where it's somebody who could just like have a camera attached to them and be
what? Wait, what?
Okay.
So she like would talk to you like normal and then suddenly be like, remember everybody, pay $99.99 to start your premium account now. And like all of this like weird shit where I was like, oh god damn it. And every now and then she would like promote a company and I was like, fuck.
Damn.
It sounds like what Cyberpunk would be if it was written by 4chan.
Look, I enjoy it. There's a robot who comes in and makes sexual innuendos all the time because she's like a sex worker robot. I don't know. I enjoy it. I think that it's very silly.
Yeah, it looked fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So played a decent amount of that. You finally played MXM last night, right? How did you feel about it?
Yeah. Myself, Stripman, Krendor, played MXM. And so MXM, also Master X Master or Master Cross Master or whatever, is a Dota-style game coming from NCSoft. It's been developed by a Korean developer, and NCSoft is the publisher. It is distinctly Korean. You can tell as soon as you log into it. It's got a lot of the things that characterize Korean and Asian games.
Going on, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of overwhelms you with like 500 different currencies and crafting shit and daily login rewards. And there's like a puzzle board at the end where you pick 5 different rewards that give you a bunch of components. I don't know what any of these things do, and it's like, okay, well, so it's a Dota style game, right?
Our spoiler alert is still up.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, turn that off now. It has just a 5 versus 5 Dota style mode, which is like, all right, I'm kind of familiar with this. Very objective focused. You know, there's no currency in the game. Like, you don't farm gold to buy items. You don't buy items at all. You just sort of level up. And completing the objectives gives your team points, and you either destroy the enemy's base, get 1,000 points before they do, or have the most points at the end of 25 minutes, and that'll win you the game. The weird thing about this game is that you, instead of picking one hero, you pick 2, and you can swap between them in the middle of a match by tagging out, as it were. It's
a little fighting gamey, right? Or like you swap, and the one that is swapped out can like very slowly gain health back. Yeah. Yes,
yeah, you can do that. So you maybe, for instance, like and this is a weird game because it's a bit it's like kind of like the Heroes of the Storm, because NCSoft has actually put a bunch of characters from different games in it. So there's some Guild Wars guys, Aeon, Lineage, you know. So It's their kind of all-stars sort of game. And I was playing one of the main characters from Guild Wars, who's one of the sort of cow lion dudes with the fire and shit, and then some other guy with a couple of guns, and I could swap between them. So I'd dive into a fight as my Guild Wars angry fire cow dude, chop these guys up a little bit, then I'd take some damage, I'd roll out of the fight and switch to my gun dude and sort of pick them off from a distance. So you can swap between them. So you could take a support character and a tank, and you could swap between them at will. You could just take a ranged or melee attack. You could just take two different kinds of assassins, all that sort of thing. And they have 3 skills, I believe. The weird thing is that you start the game with your ultimate. Everyone starts the game with their ultimate. It's just the ultimate is like you can upgrade the ultimate just like any other skill. It's just the ultimate like tends to have a long cooldown versus the other skills which really don't. Like they have very, very short cooldowns. So it feels pretty good. Like you've got a WASD movement instead of clicking on the map. You aim manually with your mouse to shoot instead of selecting something and then hitting a skill button. Everything is not, I mean, I'd say a skill shot, but it's literally more like a twin stick shooter than it is League of Legends. So it does feel a bit different to all
It
those
sounds
other
like
games.
it's like a little faster paced or
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. You die real fast in this game. Like, you really do. Because you have 2 characters, that means that the characters individually don't have much HP. So you can get flattened real quick. And that's interesting. It's got enough different elements, I think, to distinguish it from other games in the genre. And what's weird about it, the thing which is completely out of the ordinary, is it's got PvE dungeons in it. Like Diablo.
Just for shits?
Pretty much. Like, it just happens to have them. Like, you can earn crafting materials and loot and shit somehow through this. Apparently, you can also earn the in-game currency to unlock heroes by going into PvE dungeons, which you can go into with parties at different difficulty levels. And I did a dungeon. It's like, this is like a World of Warcraft dungeon. Like,
Sounds kind of fun, maybe.
It was actually all right. Like, it was surprisingly not bad. It was like just doing a dungeon in a MMO. Or in something like Diablo, and you get rewards for it. It's so bizarre to see it mashed in there. Like, I mean, fuck, the game even has, like, a MMO-style lobby where your characters are just running around while you're waiting in a queue. So there's, like, 200 fucking people in this lobby that are just running around with different avatars and outfits on, doing emotes and shit. It's like, this is a cross between fucking Club Penguin and League of Legends.
Dude, when you're in the lobby... It straight up looks like Club Penguin. It
does.
So funny.
Yeah, because there's so many people in it. There's like
it's just like people all over the place, just like walking.
I don't know why it's there.
Weird isometric. It's so funny.
I have absolutely no idea why it has this. Just not in any way. But
It's just like a cute social thing you can do.
Kinda. I think that's again a very Asian thing. I think a lot of games like that.
Lifestyle game, yeah.
Yeah, they just got that element to it. But the actual game, like, I think is relatively solid. It's not well explained. Like, the map has so many fucking objectives on it and different bosses to kill and stuff. It's like, kill Ritualist Valeris for... I'm sorry, fucking who? Like, what does this do? It's like, unlock this altar to do this. Like, whoa, okay, right, yeah,
but I guess,
sure.
like, Diablo kind of does that too, right? Diablo will be like, here's an objective.
Yeah, it kind of does, but they've implemented it into a more like a League of Legends style thing. I think they took a look at like Heroes of the Storm being very objective focused, and they decided we kind of need to do that. So it's less about kills and more about completing the objectives to summon a Titan to go down this road and do this kind of damage. But it's I enjoy my time with it actually. I thought it's got enough going for it to interest people and be sufficiently different. It felt very different from Dota. It felt much more active combat-wise, very, very snappy. And I think it might even be more familiar to people that don't usually play games like that because of the manual aiming and shit. Like, if you played a twin-stick shooter, you could probably play this, Instead of something like Dota where it's like, well, this has got a 15-second cooldown on it, it takes more than half your mana bar, you need to go back to the shop and buy this particular build of items in order to make this work, and all that sort of thing. That's not a part of this. Like, I think the game is actually surprisingly approachable gameplay-wise to people that don't play those kind of games. But it still was enjoyable to me who has 1,000 hours in Dota and League. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that they've definitely got to explain the game better. because the features are just bonkers. Like they're just like
it's
in
beta
alpha.
right now?
Yeah, it's in alpha. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly well polished for an alpha. It's got some lag
Yeah,
issues,
I was
but
gonna say it looks nice for an alpha.
did not feel like an alpha at all. But it's got some potential. Sure. It's entering a very crowded market that people have tried so much to succeed in and failed miserably. So it's going to take a little bit of work, but we'll see. Wasn't too bad. I enjoyed my time with it. I didn't hate it. So sure, why not? It's worth a bash. Played a couple of other things as well this week. You played a game called Forced Showdown? I'm gonna guess probably not.
You were talking about it though, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a game called Forced. I don't know
Yes.
what Forced.
Yeah, it's by the same
Oh,
devs.
it's Forced. Okay.
Yeah, Forced. Yeah, it's not the same game though. Forced was like a 4-player co-op game.
Right.
This is
Kinda like
not
top-down
that.
Left 4 Dead.
Yes, it like top-down, a bit of twin stick in there. So Forced Showdown is a fucking futuristic game show in which you have to go through the various levels, and there's like a fucking game show commentator while you're doing it. And the whole idea is like a futuristic combat sport, like kind of like Running Man, you know? It's fucking Running Man for all intents and purposes. You're thrown into these arenas, and you got to kill everything in the arena in order to progress. And the arenas are really, really short. And at the end of 8 arenas, you fight a boss. But the game's got card mechanics in it, because apparently that's a thing now that a lot of games have. We're just going to put cards in it. So what you do is, before you go into the thing, you build a deck of 30 cards, and it draws these cards as you go through each arena, and every time you beat an arena, you get 1 mana point, and you can then spend that mana on cards to upgrade your character. So you start at like level 1 and you have 1 mana. So it's like, okay, I can play a cheap card. Like there's an item which is like anti-barrel boots, where if you walk over barrels, they explode and do 10 damage to nearby enemies. So, you know, just something like that. And then you get 2 mana, and then 3 mana, and then 4 mana. So part of the challenge is to build a balanced deck that synergizes well with each other and synergizes well with your character to make you really fucking powerful. So by the time you get to the arena boss, you're a super fucking badass and you can kick the shit out of him. So you level up real fast. Like, it's like a mini RPG compressed into a very, very, very small time frame. You know, you start with a shitty character, and then over the course of about 5 or 6 minutes, you get a really cool character. And then when you beat the arena, you get a permanent bonus, and then you go into the next arena. And each arena has a different set of traps and modifiers in it. So there'll be like, this arena, you have a leash to your companion that's a laser and does damage to anything that goes by. This arena randomly changes the costs of cards and all that kind of thing. And when you beat enough of these little arenas, you get to move on to the next floor of the game show by beating like the next boss. And every time you do one of these runs, you get gold, which allows you to spin on a wheel to unlock new cards for your deck. So it's got a lot of replayability.
Yeah, it kind of has like almost like a mobile game feel to it.
It does, yeah, but it feels very much like a properly developed like PC or console
like
game.
The combat is good. Like the combat
good,
feels right.
good, solid combat. Yeah, like each character plays very differently. Their basic attack has a lot of depth to it. Like for instance, the first character is called the Squire of Light, and he sort of fires a beam out, but there's like 4 phases to this beam. Like he fires his first beam, and then his next one's a bit more powerful, then a bit more powerful, and then the final one is just this like pulse, which goes through walls and does a big amount of like burst damage. So you've got to manage the timing on it. There's a guy with a giant hammer who can cleave multiple enemies, but you can charge the hammer up so you can kind of hold onto it and then smack them with it real hard. You've got like, and then you've got a couple of skills like shields and AoEs and stuns and all that sort of thing to stay alive. So I actually had a lot of fun with this, and I don't usually like games like this, like kind of roguelite-y dungeon run games. But I thought
It
this one
kind of has the feel of like a tabletop kind of vibe, maybe a little bit.
It does, yeah, because of the cards, you know, and that's what keeps it different every time. You know, like playing like a card game like Dominion, for instance. You know, the reason it stays different every time is you get a different set of cards to play with every time, and each game kind of plays out differently with what you draw and how you build your deck. So that's kind of where the variety comes in. That's where the replayability comes in. So I actually had a lot of fun with it. That was
And it plays similar to Forced. In terms of controls,
sort of, but a lot better because I assume you've played Forced.
Yeah. It looks to be a little bit more polished.
It is. It's a lot tighter. It's a lot slicker in terms of its controls because Forced was a bit clunky. You know,
it just seemed like it was maybe low budget.
It was. Yeah, it totally was. But yeah, they've certainly used some assets from Forced. I think the guy with the hammer, the fiery guy, Volco or Volcano or whatever, was from Forced. He was a character from that game. So yeah, I think they've done a really great job with it. It's a nice little single-player dungeon runner. with some really
Great.
cool card
Fun.
mechanics.
I like it.
Yeah, that looks like something I'd pick up
Yeah.
for a few minutes at least.
Yeah, definitely. The cool thing is you can do like a little session. Like you can literally run an arena in about 8 minutes. So it's like a nice pickup, and I got 10 minutes spare. Let's run an arena. Get some gold, get some new cards, you know? Don't have to spend too much time in it. So yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I liked it. That was pretty cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we've got more about the games that we have been playing this week. You are watching the Co-optional Podcast. We are sponsored this week by Crunchyroll.com/TotalBiscuit. So please, by all means, do watch an ad for them. Go check out your free trial for unlimited anime.
Unlimited.
Become a garbage human being like Dodger. You too can be a total trash bag. We'll be right back after the break with yet more of the Co-optional Podcast. They did not pay us to say that. No. Maybe not. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast.
Watched a lady make dog soap.
What is with you and your fucking soap videos lately? What is going on here? What happened to you?
I don't know what happened to me. So this happened to me a long time ago, where I just so the satisfying part of soap videos, right here. Let me just.
The
I was
satisfying
gonna say,
part of
is it the
soap
romance?
videos.
Is it the romance of being an artisan?
It's not the romance of the soap, or just like
Romancing the soap. It's a pretty shit movie,
Trying to
all
get
things
something that
considered.
smells so good that people's clothes are gonna fall off. It has nothing to do with that. The real joy, the real pure joy of watching soap videos is when they cut the soap. Because it's like this huge bar, right? And they like do all kinds of crazy swirly shit in there. And then they're like, now we're going to cut it. And when they cut it open and you see like the way that it fucking swirled and looks inside, you're like, so cool. And then you have to watch another one.
It's like watching a GIF of a machine like doing something perfectly for like 10 hours.
It's just so fun. I don't know. There's just something so artistically satisfying about it in my heart to just be like, whoa, you dropped some white in there and now it looks like fucking sea foam. That shit's crazy.
I love watching videos where you do that thing with fingernails where you like put the paint on the top of the water or whatever and you like
shit, and then you're just like swoop.
yeah that shit looks like magic to me.
Yeah, I've never tried that. One day I should probably try that.
I could try it and I just end up looking like I just finger painted.
Yo, I've been trying to get Sam to do that with me in a video. Do you want to do it with us? Can we all just like fucking swoop fingers together? We just swoop some fingers. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. We're talking about YouTube vortexes.
Indeed. Speaking of something that I noticed, by the way, during the break, you're wearing a Headlander t-shirt, I think.
I am. I was so sad because Jesse doesn't know what it is. I was like, what? How have you?
I know the Headlander. I know what that is.
Here's how she described it to me. She said, "You're a head and you fly through space and you land on things." That's literally, I'm not interested.
That's not particularly well
I was like,
explained, I have to admit.
It was because Jesse was literally walking away from me, and I was like, "Is you're a head and you dock on things and it's really fuck," and then I just gave up.
Okay. Right, we can do a bit of a better job explaining Headlander. This game is not out yet. It just happens to be one of the games that I played at PAX and haven't got around to making a video of yet. So it's basically a kind of 50s, 60s sci-fi retro comedy Metroidvania game. That's the best.
You described it as like Metroidvania meets Archer.
Meets Archer, yes.
The perfect way to describe it.
The sense of humor is actually quite adult. You know, it's very Archer in terms of there's just how funny it is. It's actually a Double Fine game that's being funded by Adult Swim. That means it'll actually get finished.
Yeah.
So that's always nice. But the idea is that you are a floating head with a little jet booster on it, and you can attach yourself to other bodies, like robot bodies. And these robot bodies have different powers. But when your body gets blown up, your head flies off, and you've got to go find another body. So you
not even bodies. Like you can dock yourself on like computers so that you can open up doors you can't get into. You can There's in the demo you have an option to attach yourself to a vacuum, and I actually managed to like escape the demo with like myself docked
By
on a
attaching yourself to a vacuum cleaner, yeah, I actually did the same thing. It's like the mouse droid from Star Wars, that little thing
Yeah.
that goes around.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I could totally put my head on the. Oh, I can literally leave. This
Yeah, you just left the level, just like because you could do that. It's like, oh, there's like a air vent here. If I just dock on the fucking vacuum cleaner, I could just escape that way. Or alternatively, I can attach to a robot that has a fucking laser gun or whatever. The fucking art style is so like 60s, 70s retro.
Looks like an Atari box.
It
Yeah.
absolutely does. The obnoxious sort of colors and all that sort of thing. Very VHS, very sci-fi B-movie.
This was their shirt, which I think is in brand for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was totally into the trailer, but I'm glad to hear that it's like legitimately cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the demo was very fun. I played it on a whim. I walked by and I was like, this looks fucking weird. And then I played it and I was like, that was
Cool.
really like charming and enjoyable. I loved that.
Yeah, I played it at the Adult Swim booth, and also it is full of dick jokes. Like,
Oh yeah.
there
Great.
is
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure the spaceship that we escaped on at the end of the demo was actually just a penis. Like, it was shaped like a penis.
It looked like one.
On
for
purpose.
Were you the head? Like, were you like docked to it and like flying away?
I believe
on
you may
top
have
of
docked
it.
with the penis. Yes, I think there was a joke there. Yeah.
I just walked right past that. I didn't even realize what I was saying there.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a bit of adult humor in there. It really suits like the Adult Swim brand. Like that, I think they do a good job of picking games that are either super fucking weird or have some interesting adult sense of humor. And this is one of them. And it seems
Yeah,
like Double Fine kind of getting back to what they used to do in terms of their humor that was really, kind of adult and pretty subversive.
It's weird because I feel like Double Fine isn't talking about this game at all. I was really surprised when I saw the little
yeah.
card that was like,
This is a Double Fine game. I was like, is it? Really? Yeah.
What? Like, I believe it looking at it, but finding it in an Adult Swim booth and knowing that I haven't heard of it before was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's
have a
good, though.
legitimately surprising number of little projects that they just like kind of pop out that are just like totally weird and good now, and that's like been kind of consistent over the last couple of years. It's kind of cool, just like little small scale games. Like I really liked Massive Chalice. That was good.
Yeah. and
Totally
the-
unlike anything I've ever played.
as Double Fine, I think has produced some really awesome, unique games. They've stumbled quite a little bit lately. I mean, Massive Chalice in particular did disappoint a lot of people because I think that they sort of marked it as like this is basically Game of Thrones, the game. There's going to be some serious stuff in there, and there really wasn't. And obviously,
For me, I just got it for free, so for me there was no like I didn't
You had no
kickstart it. I
expectation.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, that was nice.
I think that's the issue with Double Fine is that they have a lot of ideas and then they realize they actually don't have enough money to make that. Like, so stuff like Space-Based DF9 obviously was never finished. People were disappointed to some degree with Broken Age. But in the meantime, they've also made stuff like Hack and Slash, which is a completely unique game whereby it's a game where you have a sword that's basically a USB key and you hack the different parts of the world and it has literal coding in it in order to bypass the puzzles and shit. I actually found it way too hard to play, but that's because I don't know anything about programming. But it's weird, nobody talked about that game. Like, it just came out. It's like, oh, all right. Just a weird little project that they made. And Headlander's looking like another one of those, so... Yeah, hopefully it'll be, now that they actually have the funding and a proper publisher and they're not flying solo and relying on fucking Schaefer's money management skills, which are non-existent, then I have a feeling that it might end up being pretty good.
I'm game.
Yeah,
I'm game
looking
for
forward
like
to
a
it.
fun swingers space game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
Fucking space porny vibe. It could be
yeah.
a weird porny vibe, actually.
It's meant to be like calling it Space Swingers makes me think of like, yeah, and then eventually, you'll dock on like a really hot body and then you'll
Totally.
bang a bunch of people.
Everybody
and-
puts their keys in the bowl.
yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then depending
I
on what
imagine
key
that
you pick
might
up, that's
happen.
the body that you dock on. And
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it had a
is.
really interesting sleazy feel to it that I don't think a lot of games have lately. It's just like real 70s porno sleaze. Like,
yeah,
those
kind of
fucking...
Mars attacks.
Yeah, very
My
much.
God.
Very much. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one, by the way. It's pretty cool.
I am perpetually forced into a like rock hard play situation whenever I deal.
Tell me
with,
more about your rock hard place, Jesse.
Well, I think Double Fine's swell, and I think some of their game ideas are great. but I want Tim Schafer to fail at everything he does. So I can't. I root for Double Fine, but I also root for Tim Schafer's complete and total failure. So it's unfortunate that I just don't. If they make something cool, but fuck Tim Schafer. So that's all I have to say.
I'm not his biggest fan either. He's definitely one of those guys that you look up to a lot as you sort of growing up in the games industry, because like, wow, he was behind some of my favorite games of all time, and then he sort of turns into a bit of a douchebag. It's a shame.
I have numerous things signed by Tim Schafer because I've met him numerous times in real life. I was like, I'm your biggest fan, and the more I get to know him, the more I'm like, you're a fucking giant sea bag. You're the worst.
Sounds like a real John Boyega.
He's a real
giant
Boyega.
sea bass. It's like, what? Fucking the secret revealed. Tim Schafer, fish in disguise.
Tim Schafer is now, along with John Boyega, my two biggest letdowns in life. I now have two
What
giant...
the fuck happened with John Boyega that made you suddenly hate him? What happened here?
So, I was on a plane coming back from London, and my girlfriend and I literally were sitting across from John Boyega.
Okay.
And the entire flight, I'm like, oh my God, do I go over and say something? Like, I just want to say, like, I love you, dude. And so I decided to wait until after the flight when it was like, I wasn't trapped, so it wasn't like he didn't feel like he had, like that kind of thing. So I go up and I approach him and I'm like, excuse me. And he literally just looks at me and goes, no, and turns around and walks away. Then on the way out, here's the best part. On the way out, he had like a handler with him. And so this made it worse. Layla and I, they lost our bags. So our shit is just gone. So we're like, all right, we don't have bags. So we decide to just leave. So we have no bags. We're just slinking out of the airport. And John Boyega and his handler guy and like whoever's carrying their luggage leaves at the exact same time. So now we're in the hallway together.
Right.
And his handler goes, hey, hold up. And like keeps John from walking side by side with us. And so we end up walking out like a foot and a half ahead of them. And I was like, I can't. All right. And just like, I was so let down. I was like, I can't. This is,
You got high school cool kidded by John Boyega.
I did. I straight up did. Here's, thankfully, I feel a little bit redeemed because from what I hear behind the scenes, they were threatening to kill off his character because he's gotten too much of an ego. So I'm okay. Yeah. So I'm okay with knowing that I wasn't the only one he's been kind of a dick to. But still, when you meet someone, you're like,
never meet your idols,
cool.
folks.
Right? It's like when because I always think, like, when someone comes up to me and they're like, Jesse, oh my God, I'm like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. And I try to, like, make that a moment.
You
for
try and,
people.
like, respect their, like, unwavering dedication to you as a human being.
Right? And when it doesn't happen to you and you're like, wow, I can't. Twice now. Tim Schafer and now John Boyega. People that look, they're basically my human being Square Enix equivalents. I just got them. I love you. I want to murder you now. Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's it. That's the John Boyega story. Flat out just said no and turned. Like
what you often said no.
Just no. Not even like I'm busy. I'm sorry. Can you wait a minute? Just no. I didn't even say anything.
I mean, you could literally be saying, "Excuse me, you dropped your car keys."
Yeah, you just said
that's the weird thing about it. It's like I totally get, like, after a long flight, you're like, okay, I don't want to deal with that right now. But there are definitely much much better ways to handle that. And you might say, well, how would you know? It's like, well, actually, been dealing with that on a smaller scale for the last 5 or 6 years, so we do know. Actually,
I was just gonna say, there's a YouTuber that I was hanging out with, no names, like a few years ago, and we were at a party during a convention, and a guy was trying to get like through a crowd and tapped her on the shoulder to be like, excuse, like, I need to get through. And she turned around and was like, what, do you want a picture or something? And he was like, what? And she was like, just fucking take it if you're gonna take it. And he was like,
what the
I
fuck?
just need to get
who are you?
I was so embarrassed for her.
Oh god, that is cringy. Oh,
and that girl was Jesse Cox.
I said no names, Alex. Fuck.
What? I looked fabulous, and you know what? Everyone was taking a photo with me that night. I just figured it was another one. Hair flip.
God.
I was like, oh, well, I suddenly have to go because that was the most awkward shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
yeah.
All right, what else have we been playing this week? I don't want
man, I
hat
played
to
a
toss into the ring here.
bunch.
Oh, I tried out Last Leviathan. It's a game in early
yes.
access. It's kind of like, well, at least from playing it, it feels like Kerbal Space Program, but with ships.
To some degree, yes. It's like
basically-
physics-based shipbuilding with parts.
Yeah, that's basically the game that exists right now. They don't have like their campaign set up really, but they have a sandbox version where you can just build a ship and see how it floats. And holy fuck, it took me forever to put together a ship that could even move because I kept building ships and it would just sink. I was like, what am I doing wrong? It is very, very specific in the way that Kerbal Space Program is very specific on like where you put things, how heavy the ship is on one side or the other, whether or not you have enough rudders, like all of this stuff. And I was just like, fuck. So my ships just kept like, they'd go a little bit and then they just
Reminds me of that game Besiege as well, where you have to build the siege engine and destroy shit in the map. Like
I never played that.
It even looks a bit like that with the art style.
Oh,
actually.
you can fire at shit. That looks so cool.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to have a full-on adventure mode where you build your ship and you go in search of treasure and stuff, right?
Totally. Yeah.
But I assume it's just a bunch of scenarios at the moment.
Right now there's versus mode, but they have
Okay.
like a mode that I think is called Voyage, and that's the one that's grayed out that you can't play right now.
Right.
So really the only thing that I could do was sandbox mode. But I think in versus you can like build ships with somebody else and then like fight if you want to and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's cool looking. I'll give it that.
I love the idea of games that are just like blowing scale up in a big way. I love the idea of like, you know, like Guns of Icarus and stuff like started it, and now it's like kind of like the norm that you're kind of like expecting to be able to just like go in a big world with people. That's awesome. I'm excited about this. Kind of has the Sea of Thieves vibe.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm like, but I know that a lot of people have said Sea of Thieves is dope as fuck.
It's
So
pretty tight.
It
It's
is.
I want to
It's
pour a lot
that
of
one.
time into this. If Sea
Yeah,
of
but let's
Thieves
be honest,
doesn't
it
come out,
ain't
I'm gonna be
fucking
like,
out yet. It ain't close to being out yet. And we don't even know
Right.
how it's going to be, because like...
That's true. That's true.
It's got very No Man's Sky vibe with Sea of Thieves, where it's like, all right, well, what you showed me was cool, but how does that integrate into an actual like game? You know, what is the
it's,
game?
It's crazy. It's crazy how close to that coming out that it really is, and everybody's still like, yeah. I mean, if it is what it is, it's what it is.
Oh, No Man's Sky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, no one even knows what that is.
yeah. I think there's a lot more information now out about
It's
No Man's Sky if you know where
supposed
to look
come
for it.
out, like really soon now, right?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
delayed a bit, but yeah, it will be coming out relatively soon.
Yeah, next month or something. August, actually, right?
Interesting.
August now.
Yeah, I think.
Let me just check.
I
Because
think
I know
August...
they keep moving the release date.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
It was
I'm
like
just-
August 18th or something like that.
let's see. Yeah, initial release date is August the 9th, but I'm not sure if they've changed that yet.
Interesting. I don't. All right. So I played a game that I don't even like. It's called Niffelheim.
Oh, yes. Heard of this.
Niffelheim is a, I guess a like Norway version of the game Kingdom. So that game where you had to like build a fort and stuff, like, and enemies would attack you, and it's side scrolling. This is the exact same thing roughly, except it's more crafting based and a lot slower. I was like the graphics style, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna look dope, because Kingdom is very pixely, and this is, you have all these like, you're a badass like Viking dude, and you have like this like, there's bear mounts, and you pick one of the different areas to start in. Like, there's so much in this game. So basic gist is, when you start, you pick a clan and a place to start. So you're either like a bear, or I think one was like a wyvern, or like whatever they are. But I picked the bear clan because it said it was the easiest place to start. And so literally around you go around and you kill wolves and rabbits, and you hunt and you farm and you do all this stuff. But it's all the side-scrolling stuff of Kingdom. The problem is, it's so effing slow. Like, it is very...
I got that as well when I tried it.
Yeah, it's like, it's very, I'm going to be... Like, it has that Kingdom feel, but also with the pace of no mod Minecraft. So it's like, we have to farm this, and then we have to farm this, and then we have to do this, and then do this. And here I am like, all right, well, how much do I need for this and this and this? And it kept like, it's just so long. It looked cool. Everything about it felt cool. I was like, I get to fight a fucking wolf. That's awesome. But everything about it was crafting based.
So it lacked sort of the because the thing that I liked about Kingdom was that there was a lot of urgency to it.
It feels like you're getting better all the time. Yeah.
Not
And
only
you're,
that,
being, and
but
you're being forced to as well, because like the world's constantly out to kill you in Kingdom.
yeah, exactly. And it
The one thing Kingdom did wrong was that the randomness of it made it very hard to win, because like your soldiers would go to different sides. Like you couldn't control where your soldiers went. But this is because it's just you and there are no soldiers. You can control everything about it. It gets rid of that randomness bit. The problem is it's very, very, very slow. So you can control all of it, but what you're controlling is like a very slow version of Kingdom, which I was like, if they could just not have all this crafting shit, this would be a great game.
Yeah, I don't know. I always saw it, and I always thought like, oh, it's just Kingdom again. And it sucks that the thing that's different is that it's slower and has crafting.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
shame
a
because
lot
like,
of crafting.
the art style was great. You know, what I will say is like looking at screenshots, the game looks gorgeous. As soon as it gets in motion, I feel less enthusiastic about it because it almost feels like it was an art style made for static shots. And then once you see it moving, it's like that actually doesn't work as well as I thought it would.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's it very much, the background is beautiful, the art in the game is beautiful, but your characters move like a Flash game. Like it has that very flashy, like their puppet feel to it. Yeah, I wish it was better than it was because it's so like I love these premises of it's a side-scrolling game and you're changing the world and building it to fight off things that are trying to fight you. I love that idea. Kingdom needed a super AI update, and that game I go back to in a heartbeat. I just wish Niffelheim was that game that I wanted Kingdom to be, but
Right.
whatever. Yeah, I gave
feel.
that a try.
Feel. Oh, you know the other thing I did this week was I went down the rabbit hole of Resident Evil 7. I went down like the Reddit.
Oh,
rabbit
that's
hole.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse,
That
Yeah.
video will probably be out today. We did a Resident Evil 7 video, and not to be like, oh, we're jump scaring, but to be like, yo, there's tons of secrets in this damn thing. Let's figure out what they are.
Mm.
So
And-
you're pulling the PT basically with this.
Yeah.
But after we wrapped on the video and we tried all the like basic ways out of the demo, like I went on like I was looking at like apparently if you hold the axe that you can get that does nothing, you can hold it up in the attic and there's like symbols on the wall that you can see, but maybe they're just graphical glitches and there's just all these weird little different theories and things, and it's so like it's so satisfying to feel like you're part of something when it's happening.
That was me with the Oxenfree ARG. The Oxenfree ARG, I was so into that shit because it's like you're part of this crazy, like something. This all means something. I don't know what it means, but it all means something. And yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, but like it begs the question: like, is this? It's almost like crappy of Capcom at this point. Like at the beginning, I respect their idea of like, oh yeah, like like this is all you're gonna get, and like maybe there's some stuff that you haven't seen, and people are like straight up asking these PR people who maybe aren't directly on the development team for Resident Evil 7, like, is there more to this? And I'm sure their job is to be like, but then they'll say something like, go in the attic. Maybe there's something in the attic. And it's just them talking out of their ass, basically. But it's like,
so for people who don't know, the game has this demo has multiple endings. It's very much like PT in that there's ways to solve this thing, and there's multiple things to find. And besides the fact that there's like the crazy monster man in the house, there's also people discovered a hidden like ghost girl, and she shows up in 1 of 7 places. There is a mannequin finger that literally no one knows what it does.
It looks like a key. It's like they go out of their way to say what it's about. To me, the thing that's really the most weird is that if you go upstairs because you put in a videotape about halfway through, And in the videotape, you're in the same house that you're in, but it's like earlier in time. And when you go upstairs, there's like a table, and sitting on the table is like a pristine pair of headphones.
And it does, and people are like, why is that there in the past but not in the future? Whose headphones are there? And then here's the crazy thing: if you turn down the in-game volume, the volume of the headphones goes up. Like, there's a ton of hidden stuff in this game that is really right, and so no one quite knows what's going on. But it's one of those things that either this is all leading somewhere in this demo, or very much like, I think I've told this before, because my favorite like game developer thing I ever learned was the guys, when I met with the guys from Dead Space, they said they went to a conference a long time ago when they were thinking up stuff to put in the game, and they added ping, right? And everyone's like, what the fuck's ping? What does ping do? And they never told you because it was a non-thing. And they went to this game developers conference, and one of the devs was like, imagine you create a game, and in a cutscene, you show 3 tanks, and one tank drives to the right. Everyone is going to assume in that level there are 3 tanks, only make 2. People will always wonder what happened to that 3rd tank, and they'll look for it, and they'll be obsessed with it and finding it. I feel like this may be that situation where they just put a bunch of shit in this game and made it real cryptic and really weird, and people are now obsessed with it. And I feel like they didn't go the extra length PT did, which was to explain all of it. Like, PT gave you answers to everything. I feel like this is a very Capcom thing of just like, hey, fuck you, here's some stuff, enjoy, assholes.
Nothing in this at all.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a VR horror demo. I feel like part of it is just like, look at this cool shit. You know, not necessarily this is all part of the puzzle, but like when you turn down the volume, some volume goes up. Mm-hmm. What the fuck, right? Like, I don't think it necessarily is all connected.
No, I know. I just hate that it's there. Like, I hate that. Like, I guess it's, you know, it's not the destination. It's the
journey. I'm with you. I hate that it's there too, because it's not like it's not something that, you know, like going back to Dead Space, where it's like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what that means, because it clearly means nothing. But I will obsess over it for 3
It's literally like you find a key and you open a door and there's an axe in the door, and it's like, oh, I have to get the axe.
You go through a process. Yes.
I opened it in the past and it's here in the future. Now I have it, and it's literally fucking nothing. It's it's a fucking.
It's not like you found an axe and the axe was just there and you're like, oh, what does this do? It's not like the mannequin finger, which is like you just open a drawer and it's there. This is you go through a step-by-step process to get this axe, and then it does nothing.
Even if I could just use it to open the door instead of the key and just get out and still just get killed at the end, like, at least it would have a purpose, and I think that it would curb a lot of these problems. But everybody on the Reddit is sort of this sort of mind of like, yeah, there's probably nothing here, but I'm going to keep looking anyway. And I'm just like, is it really hard for them to be like, you found everything?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that it's like, we want people to keep going back and playing the game. And I think
doesn't that seem like a dishonest way to do that?
Well, I mean, that's marketing though. That's, you know,
I guess, but it's like kind of like promising something that's not there. Like, kind of
Capcom.
Like, you're saying nothing and you're being like coy about it, you know? And like, if there really isn't nothing, like, you're just like the Wizard of Oz, man. You know?
I mean, yeah, it's very interesting. If you don't know what we're talking about, either go Google this or wait till tonight when I upload that video. But literally, it's just like a crazy mystery that, I mean, there's a girl, like a random ghost girl in this game that no one knows what purpose she serves. She just, every once in a while, your turn will be right there. And you're like, oh, okay, what was that for?
I mean, and I'm not even really so upset about that as I am about, like, just clues that don't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ghost girl, whatever. Like, it's like a cool thing that I could talk about and post things and write a fan fiction about, and that, like, whatever. There's not like a promise to that, but it's just that there's promises that like it, you know, it like you put something there that's interesting and remarkable, and it just doesn't mean anything. It's not the same.
Well, I guess if anything, it makes people excited for Resident Evil 7. Here's my concern: Resident Evil 7, I imagine, isn't even going to be anything like the game we played.
Right. It's like a Lost situation. It's like you're creating like a very big mystery at the beginning that's getting everybody excited about it, or Cloverfield situation.
Mhm.
And then the payoff is like, like some people will enjoy it. Some people who can like separate their like imagination from reality and like judge the thing that they're getting for what it is. But I did play the Resident Evil demo for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And am no farther along in learning anything than I was after 1 hour.
Yes.
I just feel like I wasted time, like snake oil.
The only connection to the game is a photo that says like, I think they're watching us from that helicopter.
Right.
That there's no connection to the Resident Evil series in this entire thing at all. It's weird. I can't wait to see what becomes of it.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's if you're looking for something to do with your free time, there is a Reddit and you can go speculate about Resident Evil 7. And I did it for some time and I wasn't fully satisfied with my time doing it.
Wait,
Yeah.
so you guys have a video where you like pretty much looked into all of this shit though?
Yeah,
right?
we went
A
and
lot
we
of
did,
it,
We
yeah.
did we did
don't gotta
everything
do
that is
Chat, we don't got to do nothing. Just watch
Yeah.
their video.
we did everything that is possible to be done, and then went online and tried to find more and tried to do that. Like we did everything there was to do, and we were the ones who were like, we're gonna figure out what this finger does. Nope,
No way.
nope,
No way.
massive failure.
Thousands of people have tried and failed, and we were just another one.
Yeah,
Just more failures in the
That's
state.
us.
yeah, that sucks. But it's fun. It's a fun ass game. I wish it actually led to something.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what the game is. My dream is that it's like a game where you like drive around like a really scary town and there's like a couple abandoned houses and it's similar in tone to the demo. That would
Then
be
what
great.
does it have? But what does that have to do with Resident? Like I don't understand.
It could just be like a small scale story told in a new way, and and it's set in the Resident Evil world.
But it's not, because I don't want to spoil anything. But literally, Ada Wong is in the demo, so
Well, we don't know if it's Ada Wong.
it's totally Ada Wong.
I know that. I know that, but I have to respect the fact that they haven't told us that it is.
Yeah,
It's just lame.
yeah. Oh well, I guess that. Yeah, Duker, you play anything else? What are we?
I'm trying to think. Let me look at Steam. Did I play anything else? Not that I can think of. Honestly, aside from like some Overwatch, I still haven't tried out the ranked. So I know that you can try out ranked now.
Oh, in the like
You gotta
the
have a PTR for
PTR.
that,
Yeah, I heard it's just like kind of.
But I mean, it's a mini tournament, isn't it? You've got to play a certain
Yeah.
number of rounds. So
Right.
it's for the people that are looking for a more team-oriented experience. Whereas to me, Overwatch is a very drop-in, play-around, drop-out kind of game. So, I mean, I don't really have too much interest in that mode. But I know the guys that were into it competitively obviously want that mode to be there.
It's probably
I'm
fun
curious-
to hop on chat and just like screw around in the ranked mode for a little bit.
But I'm curious what the because I know a lot of people are complaining about team stacking and all the different things. Like that's kind of what the game's about, though. So I'm very curious, competitive wise, what people will think, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like people just were bitching about stacking characters, but can't you just switch? Like it's not competitive. You're locked in. So like I don't understand what the complaint is. Like, isn't it just you can? Right? Am I wrong?
Well, I think
Because you can counter. Like if someone stacks, you can counter their characters. And if you're a good team, you should be able to figure that out, right? Am I crazy for thinking that isn't a thing?
from my perspective, it's just that like you're in ranked, right? And if you are going into a ranked game stacked, I think it could feel like less fun and more just like frustrating to the other players. Like you're not really taking this seriously. Or
Well,
like,
but I mean,
don't know.
there's like a legit real strat that I've seen a few competitive like teams. I can't believe I'm saying that the game doesn't even have a competitive mode, but competitive teams start out with where they all go Hanzo and use that like widespread bouncing shot at the very beginning of the game, right at the entrance of every single. So as you run out, you're instantly killed. I know that's a lot of people's openers, and then they play as Hanzo till they die, and then they switch to another character. And or sometimes I've seen them jump off a cliff to switch. Like there's different strategies that I think people do. I'm very curious like, yeah, sometimes I don't know. I guess people are complaining like, oh, you can stack and then like 5 Zaryas and a Lucio and it's unkillable. And I'm like, well, they are killable though.
That's the story of every multiplayer game though. It's like people have an idea of the way that they want to play the game, and then they have to face the reality of like, well, if I'm going to take a step towards actually trying to win every match, if I'm really going to try and like win, you have to just like play the fucking game. You have to like you can't just be the guy you want to be every time. You have to let the game tell you how to play. And I think that always happens with shit like this, and there's always backlash against competitive players and everything. Like I'm big in the Pokemon scene, and people, it's like, the big thing with Pokemon is like, oh, there's like 12 Pokemon total represented in the championships. Where every player is supposed to have 8 teams. So little variation, but it's like, if you want to win, you got to do what it takes to win. And if that's where the meta is, that's where it's going to be. You're going to just have to do what it is. And there's no way to balance something perfectly.
Yeah, I think like it's same thing with Street Fighter. We saw that every year at Evo, it's the same 5 or 6 characters over and over and over again. And then when someone plays something different, like last year when Reddit got the jury guy to show up, everyone was losing their mind because they're like, what? How is he even going to do well? Because it's just the tier list, man. Once someone's on a tier list as better than someone else, which I think is great for Overwatch in that everyone counters everyone. The only person who's on a tier list at the moment should be Roadhog, because Roadhog, since they nerfed McCree, there's only like 2 guys that can really hurt him.
Yeah.
And his hook is super powerful. Like, but with that all said, there's still counters. Like everything's counterable. I don't know. People were complaining about it. And as far as I can tell, the only people complaining about, oh, they're stacking, are the people who play like 2, maybe 3 characters. Like, bro, you got to learn to play a lot more than that. Like, there's.
I don't know, because I'm not into competitive Overwatch, but I'm gonna take a kind of a guess at this as to why people don't like the stacking thing. Because you're right when you say that yes, a stack can be countered. The problem really is not necessarily that a stack can be countered, it's how much time it takes to do the switch and then get into a position to counter it, bearing in mind that most of the game modes are the push. Let's say, for instance, you pick some ridiculous stack because you can pick a stack for a specific part of each map, because there are certain stacks which do incredibly well in particular parts of the map. By the time that you have switched characters to counter it, organized, and then run back to that area, you've already lost that part of the map. So to me, I think that's why people are concerned about stacking in competitive play, because while you can counter it, it takes too long to counter it. So at that point, yeah, eventually you'll beat them, but they got a bunch of traction out of that composition before you were able to switch and really get your shit together and sort that out. And it's also, I think, very difficult to balance a game where you can have a lot of one hero. There's a reason why Dota doesn't let you play 3 fucking Skeleton Kings or whatever, because having 3 guys who have an automatic passive resurrection and 3 hard stuns would be very difficult to beat. Whereas if there's only one of them, it's much easier to absorb that with whatever your team composition happens to be. It's much easier to not get completely steamrolled by that. So right. I think that's probably why they don't want big stacks. I think it can cause more problems than is reasonable, and maybe it might be in competitive mode. Maybe you just limit it to 2 of one hero or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not like you're wrong. You can totally counter. Like, if someone goes to fucking 5 Zarya, 1 Lucio, yeah, of course, that's totally counterable. It's also quite difficult to counter, especially if they all have fucking ultis, like chaining their fucking particle shit and all constantly spamming shields and things. It's the same thing that when people go like 5 or 6 Winston, it's like, there are so many fucking shields here, I can't shoot anything.
Well, I think what's going to happen that will end this very quickly is there's just going to be some guy named like Feng Long who only plays Genji, because that's always a Genji name. And it's going to be like that guy who murders everyone. Like, oh yeah, no, we're going to do this awesome stack, and one player just wrecks it. Then people are going to be like, oh, that's a dumb idea. And that will phase out real quickly. There's always going to be one or two guys who just murder everyone and change people's minds about stacking like that.
Well, that's why I like what LCS kind of did, which is where they just kind of like shuffle the deck a little bit between seasons. And I think if competitive Overwatch becomes like a true, world stage esport, which it could be, like I could see it being just purely based on popularity, like getting some good big events.
I could totally see it as an esport. Absolutely.
Yeah,
as long as they clean it up a little bit. It's way too colorful right now.
Yeah, as long as they keep make those changes, like maybe this season or this first trial run, stacking, maybe they just want to see what happens. Maybe they just want to see how people deal with stacking for a little while, and then when
there's some guy called Darkness with 5s for S's who plays Reaper, who will just destroy a group of people stacked up as something. Like there's always going to be
an exploit or something that. It feels like an exploit.
And it's just going to be one player who just is better than the other 5 combined in their stack and then just destroys them and their healer. And it won't be, I feel like it won't be an issue. It seems like an issue now because everyone's sort of on an even playing field. But in real competitive mode, as it gets higher and higher up, people are just going to like destroy stacks.
Yeah, I imagine that as time goes on, just meta will change, but that's how it is with everything. But I just like the idea that this season they'll be like, this season's all about stacking. This season's all about some type, whatever other strategy there is. Maybe this season it's like you can only pick these 5 characters and everybody has to be one of them or whatever. You know what I mean? If they
keep nerfing characters like McCree, thank God they did that. Or if they keep like I know on console, Torbjorn's getting a massive nerf because he's way overpowered.
It's much harder to kill the turret with a console aim than it is on PC.
Yeah, if they keep changing things, eventually some of the stacking metas that exist now won't work. So
no,
it'll just be one of those things that we'll have to see what happens with time. I mean, again, this is one of those things that goes back to when Heroes of the Storm came out or Hearthstone came out. Blizzard puts themselves in a box by saying these are casual fun games. These are like Overwatch is our fun, like jump on, jump off, you're playing with your friends having a good time game. Also it's competitive, which is a huge box to put themselves in. The last 3 games they made is like casual fun, kind of like chill out with your friend games, and also they have massive competitive modes, which is difficult to combine the two.
Yeah, I've never really understood that because one scene obviously affects the other. I mean, this goes back all the way back to WoW. Remember when we were playing WoW back in the days of the great PvE versus PvP debate? Where, there was a time when PvE raiding was necessary to get the gear to do arena competitively, so the PvPers were super fucking pissed. And then it was the other way around. There was a time when PvP gear was almost better than every piece of raid gear. I think it was the Molten Core days and like Blackwing Lair, where a lot of people were just in raid gear, in PvP arena gear, because it was better than the raid gear they could get. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want my PvE to affect my PvP, or I'm just a PvPer, so why should I have to go and do PvE? Why is this fucking asshole in Battlegrounds in full tier 2 and kicking my ass with raid gear? He should be in PvP gear. I can't get that gear because I'm not a raider. And, it even goes back to that, and fucking Hearthstone's a great example of, we have a competitive scene for a game which has so much fucking RNG in it that there is absolutely no reason why there should ever be a competitive scene for this game, because there are tournaments literally being decided by coin flips on a very regular basis. There's basically no consistency in who ends up being in the top. This is a huge post on the Hearthstone forums for a long time. There's no consistency with who wins Hearthstone tournaments, because that game is so fucking random that as long as you are at a certain level, you could totally knock out the best fucking player in the world in the goddamn bracket stage, in the round of 256, because he happened to draw badly and lose 3 games in a row. That's a thing. It's like, why does this game have a competitive scene if that is the case? Yes.
So I was just thinking about this, because we're discussing it. And
I like discussing without thinking. I think, just go for it. Just say what you think.
First thing that comes into your mind, say it like it's gospel, and everybody's down. They're all
no one will question it if you answer
a little bit of
quickly
word association.
It's true, especially if you have a British accent, which unfortunately I don't, but I'm going to do my best. So do you think that part of the reason why all of these like casual versions of the genre that Blizzard keep making wind up immediately having this like, well, competitive though, right? Is because since they're so casual, there's so many people who play it and feel like they're fucking awesome at it.
I
And
think,
they're like,
I think that's a big part of it.
you
Yeah.
know what? I could compete in this. I'm like so good at this game. Are there going to be tournaments? Like I could do that. You know, I feel like there's almost an immediate request for ranked because suddenly people play the game and are like, I'm really good at this. I should compete. I want to see how good I am compared to everybody else because I'm positive I'm like the best Junkrat player ever.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
There's also a lot of like you not like once you get into a game and you start to have your own feelings about your skill at the game where you're starting to feel like, oh, I'm like not just losing every time I go online. Like if you are having a problem with your gameplay strategy yourself and you don't have a coach, you don't have maybe you don't even have a single friend in real life to talk about the game with.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean seriously, like maybe you just like do this after work and it's just like a thing you do. You know, if you start getting your shit packed by Genji every single time, right? Like your opinion is going to be Genji needs to be nerfed. You know what I mean? Because you're not playing the game. You're not responsible to take a step back and look at the scene and look at the pro scene and look at how people who are way better than you are playing the game. Like that's not part of my enjoyment of the game. Whereas something like football, everybody's watching the people who are best at the damn game play it and people talk about those people and that's how you learn the game. But because it's a video game and it's like if in football or baseball or, because we're in Los Angeles, it'd be like if when you every time anyone played baseball, they're going out and playing Dodger Stadium. You know what I mean? And you have your own idea about it. And you're like, that wall's too far away. I can't hit a home run in this stadium. Like, well, the fucking pro baseball players can.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why people are always, open arms.
When you look at, I think it's definitely what Dodger was saying about the idea that people just assume like, oh, I'm amazing at this. But it's also the fact that I think from Blizzard's point of view, many people consider them like StarCraft is by many people's standards like the granddaddy of esports. Like that shit blew up and changed the world of esports. And so Blizzard, I think, is constantly on the edge of like, we have to have one more, like we need to get that. We need to grab that again. StarCraft was our jam. And now StarCraft's kind of dying off and we need some other big esport that's going to do it. And so everything they make, yeah. And it makes sense to me, but it's one of those things that's like, you understand that they are grabbing for whatever it could be. But at the same time, they understand that, thank you, Wallace. I hear him in the background agree with me.
Wallace is totally down with what you're. Yeah.
They understand that the casual market is the way to go. So again, it comes back to this weird problem Blizzard has, which is casual market. That's where most people are going to play, but also esports is where money's at. So let's do both, which is super, super difficult to do. And I it's interesting watching them try because a perfect example of that is in Overwatch. It's casual hitboxes that they're then going to make competitive. So you have people like Diva who her entire front half of her body is a hitbox. It's like a head hitbox. You have sniper footage, which is people just spinning and twirling, barely using scopes, getting headshots. And it's like, what?
Well, I mean, there was a shot that really got me where someone got shot in the head despite his head being 100% behind a pillar because the hitbox peeked out from the pillar because it's a combination of the hitbox for the head is too big and the hitbox for the projectile is also too big. So, you can pull off shots that are literally impossible. And yeah, if you want to be taken serious as a competitive game, you need to not fucking do that because you put that in the hands of someone who's ridiculously good and it becomes insane. And there's also issues with the netcode and lag compensation and tick rate and such.
I feel like literally everybody who's played that game at some point or another has been like,
what the fuck just happened?
yeah, this makes no sense. I'm literally watching the replay right now, and I'm nowhere to be found. Like, what
Yep,
the
and 85% of that is with fucking Hanzo as well.
Hanzo, always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Well, that's the other
I
thing.
got one a couple of days ago where the guy's literally just aiming at the floor and headshots me. I'm like, what? What? Like, what the fuck
Yeah.
just happened?
Well, that's the other thing about real sports versus esports again, and why there's not so much like debate about the rules. I mean, every once in a while there is debate about the rules, but not in the way that it is a everyday thing with esports. Is that all sports are bound by the laws of physics?
Yeah.
So there's certain
Which are inherently understandable to a regular person.
right.
So everything
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
see makes sense in your head, but that's not the
Yes.
case in esports. Actually, no,
Right.
some things
Not
are
at all.
ridiculous.
And so
Yeah, no,
that's and there's no consistency. Like, so like if you're looking at basketball and you're looking at baseball, right? Like you still know that like everything falls at a constant speed thanks to gravity. You know what I mean? But in Battlefield versus Call of Duty versus Counter-Strike versus Overwatch, even just the idea of shooting something out of a gun at another player is a
It's not the
completely
same. Yeah.
different set of equations.
Different set of
So
rules.
so unless you're only playing Overwatch ever, you know what I mean? Like maybe a gun doesn't work the way it's supposed to, or like maybe this headshot thing or this hitbox situation. Like I could, you can take a step back, and as long as there's transparency about the meta of the game, like that can all be figured in. It's not clean and doesn't make sense logically. I think it's
But you
dumb.
know it happens within the rules of the game world.
Right, exactly. And I think like if there could be more education about that or something on the part of the developers or something, I don't know. It's not really on them to do that if they're saying it's going to be casual. But if it is going to be competitive, there needs to
They
be
have to do it. They have, no, absolutely. Which is one of those things where I just don't understand, but I do understand kind of deals. We're like, you can't keep saying all of our games are casual. We're a casual friendly market. And then at the same time be like, but check out our competitive mode. Like, well, then
Right. Even down to the talent, like a lot of the time, like for most fighting games, for example, sure, like a lot of the people who are hosting these things are very like educated about the mechanics of the game a lot of the time. But a lot of the time also, and like this doesn't happen so much on TV or something like that. I mean, it does sometimes, but like there's a lot more willingness on the part of a promoter or somebody to put somebody casting the game who doesn't really know what the fuck they're talking about. That's a problem a lot of the time. Like you're watching a tournament and somebody who's on mic, you're just like, what the fuck are they like talk? Like this person doesn't even play this game, obviously. And it's like, that's the kind of problem. Like if I like Jesse Cox, you know what I mean? Like
you don't want me casting. If you like me, you don't want me casting.
we're talking in hypotheticals here, right? Just
well,
like-
yeah,
just
if
to check.
I actually liked Jesse,
Hypothetically, if I like Jesse.
in a fantasy world that's unlike this one, if I actually liked Jesse Cox,
I went to the metal mausoleum. Mausoleum of metal.
Mausoleum of Metal. No,
This
if
is
he
the
was
darkest
casting,
timeline.
if he was casting Street Fighter, you know what I mean? I'm sure Jesse likes. I don't know. I can't speak to your knowledge of Street Fighter.
I love Street Fighter. I couldn't tell you shit about Street Fighter.
Right. But if I'm a Jesse Cox fan and I go to watch the tournament that Jesse Cox is casting, and he's talking shit on, I don't know, Armika. He's just talking mad shit on Armika and how she fits into the game. Maybe he just fucking hates. Maybe Armika doesn't say hi to him at the airport. Who knows why he hates Armika, right? But if he's talking shit on Armika, I like Jesse more than and my allegiance to Jesse makes me believe everything that he says and goes on his team. And so there's all these people complaining about these games, and they're misinformed. The game doesn't make clear what is going on when the confusion happens. And you get a notice that somebody's nerfing something. Like I play Destiny pretty regularly, and I see people go insane when they nerf shotguns or they do whatever, and it's like, why? I love my shotgun. And it's like, no, like in high level play, this is why this is happening, but there's not even a centralized place to go watch that shit.
Yeah.
And so we're not even all having the same conversation. It's like 3 separate scenes all about Destiny that are online, and they're not even the same fucking scene.
That's the truth right there. That's absolutely the point. And the same thing happened with WoW, and I think that's what tore WoW apart to some extent, where there was the high rating scene, there was the super casual scene, and then there was the people who just logged in every once in a while and wanted a real quick experience. And had to focus on those high-level raiders because the high-level raiders were the ones who were on all the forums, who were on everywhere bitching about everything and complaining about everything. And so for a while, they focused only on those guys. And then when they switched to the casuals, because the casuals were their main numbers, the high-level raiders, all it is complaints now. Like so it's tough. I think they have so many like levels of people involved in their games over at Blizzard that it's like, all right, I don't know. Good. It's not my job to figure this out. So thank God. But they can't, you can't keep saying everything's casual and then make it competitive. That's not how it works. Like,
the only way to do it is to take ownership of it and to make sure that you have consistency across all media, because otherwise it's just going to be people like getting mad at their own shadows. It's never going to grow. It's just going to be pressure. Like, I'd be mad if I came back to a game that I hadn't played for 3 months and shotguns work totally differently. But like, as a level-headed man, I can tell you that I in my thought process is, I don't live and breathe this game every day of my goddamn life. So maybe a change in the game wasn't made specifically to help me out.
What?
Inconceivable.
But people don't do that. People don't think that way. And I think that's really the main obstacle to like healthy game balancing.
Yeah. Oh, good luck fixing that part of the broken human psyche. That'll take a while.
We're
going to take a break. We're going to go take a break
bombs.
from our broken psyche for 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit about the news, what there is of it. My name is TotalBiscuit, and these are the guests of our show. Aren't they wonderful? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast for the final hour or so of the show, and we're going to talk a little bit of news of what there is of it.
Tetris movie trilogy.
Oh God.
Yeah, not because they're trying to get blood from a stone. No, because
like blood from a block.
A full story arc. They have a full story arc that they are excited to expand upon. And
don't shortchange what could be possibly a pretty good idea. Okay.
No, the guy in charge of this is the guy who made every Mortal Kombat movie, even the awful ones. True Lies.
There's not like an awesome Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah,
there's
is.
not like,
that
one. One's. Yeah, I mean,
the first one's awesome.
First one's amazing.
The first one is acceptable. It's a movie.
Look, when you were like a young kid, the first one was the shit. I don't care what you say. I remember.
Yeah.
Did I imagine it wrong, or does Shang Tsung like give the finger and suck your skull in? Does that happen?
No.
I should revisit that movie.
What?
Anyway, Tetris sounds like it's going to be great.
No, Shang Tsung doesn't go, your soul is mine. That's what he does.
God, you know what the best quote from the interview that he did was? The producer, Larry Kazanov, that he did with the Guardian newspaper. And this is not... I'm going to take this out of context on purpose because it's hilarious if I do. Quote, no one has come remotely close to figuring out what we're doing. It's like... I was like, yeah, I think you're right.
All we know is that we want 3 movies worth of it.
Jesse, can you read the quote that you read us before?
Oh, shit. I wish I could. Yeah, hold on.
It's like from beginning to end, it's just so like.
God damn.
I don't know if he realized. I don't know if he realized.
The basic gist of the quote was that he was like, I think people don't understand what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to, wring blood from a stone. We're trying to create something that's going to be special. And it's not just going to be blocks with legs walking around. It's going to be a real...
that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a real movie. It's going to be a real trilogy. We're not going to do one of those, like, make 8 and try to get 2 from the last movie kind of movies. Like, it's clearly a guy just like, I don't think even I know what we're doing. And then he's like, yeah, and
I want to know how you're going to get 1 movie from this, let alone 3. What the fuck even is this thing?
I don't. Here's the thing. I hope for the sake of nerds everywhere that it does worse than the Warcraft movie, or else that's an inherent problem.
Well, I think it probably will. Let's be honest. The Warcraft movie did pretty well.
The Battleship movie was bad, right?
All of them. They've all been bad.
None of them have been like, wow, that was a great.
Just making sure.
The thing is, I like stupid movies, and Battleship was a very stupid movie.
Okay.
They made a Ouija board movie. Like, just like the Hasbro, like all the like Parker Brothers shit. Like they're just like, yo, what if we make it a movie? Now there's Tetris.
3.
three Tetris movies, which, as we discussed before the podcast started, the only way they're sellable to me as an audience is if they name them after the songs.
Type B, type C.
Yeah, Type A, Type B, Type C. Those are the names of each of the movies. Tetris Type A, Type B, and Type C. That would be amazing. I'd go watch that just because at least they were creative enough to come up with that great name.
That's worth $17.
Or they listened to this podcast just now and they were like, "Oh fuck, stop everything."
Somebody
Yeah,
has
stop.
an idea. Somebody has a fucking idea. Write that shit down.
Fucking idea is happening right now in real time.
Wow.
What if it's aliens? What if it's based on aliens and they communicate just like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's with the Tetris songs? So it's like, and the aliens like, bomb, 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 bomb. That'd be amazing. I want that.
It's as good as Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Obviously, yeah, they're very comparable. Yeah.
He was like, it's not like we're gonna have blocks walking around on the street. And it's like, I fucking hope not.
Yeah, I certainly hope that isn't true. Speaking of comparable, so
That segue.
indeed, I'm fucking good at this. I've been doing this shit for 5 years. I'm the
We really have been doing this
DMX
podcast
of
for
podcasts.
fucking ever.
Or not long enough.
Oh shit, that's true. Not long enough. 20 years.
Yeah.
So, news today, the game Orion Prelude has been taken down from Steam by Activision with a DMCA claim.
Yeah.
So the claim is, and, you know, I was reading about this last night, and I almost felt sorry for the developer until I realized that they have a history of this shit. The claim is that the game Orion Prelude uses weapon content art from Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare. The weapon art in question includes the M8A7 rifle, the Haymaker rifle, and the BAL-27. So they basically claimed they stole weapon models from the game, copied them, and put them into Orion Prelude.
Right.
Now, the developer responded by this with a couple of comparisons and said, no, we totally didn't. The comparisons were a bit shitty. Like, if you click the comparisons in the link that I gave you in the chat, you'll notice that they show completely different models at completely different angles. Unfortunately for them, of course, the internet being the internet, decided, actually, let's just do a proper comparison, and they compared the in-game model of both of these weapons, and oh my god, are they fucking the same thing. I threw you a link to it right there.
The Haymaker in the actual comparison looks exceedingly similar.
Yeah. Now have a look at the M8A7 in the screenshot that I just posted and tell me that is not the same fucking gun. Because holy crap.
Yo.
Yeah. Let me see if I can show this to the people on screen. So this right here is the top of the
similar.
the M887 in the Orion game, and let's see if I can. I'm just trying to show you the rest of it. Hang on. No, that is not working at all. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean that is.
Hang on a second. I can put this screenshot into here.
It's a less
Give me a sec.
good-looking version of that gun.
Yes, pretty much. Let me just add this because
It looks like they just like
there's
tacked
so much-
some stuff on.
yeah, there's actually like so many similarities between these two things. Where's my documents folder? Fucking hell. Where's my downloads folder? Jesus Christ, this should not take as long as it bloody does. And there.
Yeah, it's one of those things
Here we go.
where like
And
they
there.
changed.
There's
You know
the
what this
comparison.
is? You know what this is? This is the vanilla ice of video games, where it's like, no, it doesn't go da 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 da. It goes da 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 da. Like it's the same fucking thing. Vanilla ice. Yeah. This is it. I mean, it's a little bit different, and it's like
Not by
it's
much.
like- but not much. Yeah, it's not enough to say that it isn't straight up plagiarism.
The damning part of it to me, at least in that picture, and there are several other examples of the other weapons, is that if you look at the top iron sight, look at those 4 little blue things in that incomplete circle directly below that, and tell me that is not fucking identical.
The Xbox button.
Yep.
That's in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also look at the 2 little shapes in the top rail, where one of them, which
Little
is the sort of
Z-shape.
oblong, and then there's there's that shape that like has a line that then bends and then goes down again.
Even the
Not
sight.
Yeah, the sight at the end is the
iron
big
sight at the end is
it's the
identical.
exact same.
There's really no question about that, and and wow, okay, all of our cameras just disappeared. Great, that's awesome. There we go. We're back. Oh, God.
Yay!
Please consistently move so I know the software hasn't crashed. Thank you. Great. Wonderful. All right. Anyway, back to what we were saying, which, again, was the Orion DMCA
These guns
takedown.
look fucking the same.
They very much do. There's a bunch of different screenshots showing
We're getting this back on track, guys.
identical details, and the guns are not identical in and of themselves. They're not direct asset copies, but they basically took giant chunks of the weapons and slapped them together. So, I mean, the case seems really cut and dry. I'm going to be honest, with the amount
You were
of
saying they have a
comparisons
history of this?
Yes. So, back in 2013, this game has changed its name on at least 2 occasions. It used to be called Orion Dino Beatdown. It was then named to Orion Dino Horde. It was then changed the name again to Orion Prelude. They keep changing the name of it so that they can get rid of all of the old bad reviews. Now, to their credit, the game is a lot better.
Up.
Yes, the game is a lot better than it was back in 2013. Like, it's not necessarily a bad game right now, but the thing is that they also have a history of stealing assets from other games. Back in 2013, there was an accusation that was pretty much accurate that they used their dispenser model was the exact same as the armory from Natural Selection 2. Exactly the same model. Not to mention they were accused of tracing concept art from Primal Carnage. The studio itself was banned from Polycount, which is like the biggest forum for professional 3D graphics artists. The studio
Tracing
changed
concept art?
Yep. The studio
What
changed
the
its
fuck?
name from Spiral Studios to Trek Industries, which, definitely sounds like a way to try and dodge that negative press. So, and the developer has got a history of some pretty ridiculous stuff. Like, when he renamed the game and kind of relaunched it, part of the trailer was him claiming that, like, everyone had judged the game unfairly and stuff like that. And trust me, having played it at that point, no, they didn't judge that game unfairly. If anything, they were generous. That game was a piece of crap. So, yet again, they're in serious trouble. Except this time, they decided apparently to piss off one of the largest publishers in the world for some reason. Why would you do that? What the fuck?
What? Yeah, I don't. It's so weird that you would just straight up copy. I don't know.
I mean, if I were to give them the benefit of the doubt, then they probably contracted out the art to somebody, and that person did, fucking stole it and did a quick job. Those asking, by the way, those are not based on real guns. If you look at those are not real weapons. Bear in mind, it's advanced warfare. Those are futuristic guns. The Haymaker, the M8A7, they do not exist. They're not real weapons. Neither is the BAL-27. So they are original creations, and obviously a gun's gonna look like a gun. We get that. But if you look at the details, they are way too fucking close. There are so many identical parts there that are not actually part of your regular weapon. It's not like this looks like an M16. Lots of guns look like M16.
Right, it's not like it looks similar because it was... Yeah.
Not at all. Bear in mind, this is also the same fucking game that quite literally made Boba Fett's helmet and sold it in their microtransaction store without any obvious permission from Disney. So I have a feeling, just a little inkling, that yes, they may be in the wrong on this one. But what's kind of disturbing to me is that Activision has the ability to take an entire game down from Steam over a couple of models.
Yeah.
As much as these guys are in the wrong, does that not, rub you the wrong way a little bit?
Maybe, but it could be that Steam is like, oh, these fucking guys again. All right, fuck it. Shut it down. Fuck this. We're over this. You know what I mean? It could be more that it has to do with their history, but I mean, I guess the fact that Activision could just make a call is scary.
Well, I mean, that's actually how the DMCA really works. In America, pretty much anybody can make a call, and the person that's hosting the content has got to take it down immediately. They have to comply immediately, which is kind of a problem with the law more so than anything else. We've all had the same issue with YouTube, right? Where we've had to take down a video just disappeared, or we've had no chance to dispute it. It's because their YouTube model is based on the DMCA, and you've got to comply with the DMCA claim immediately. You don't have a choice.
Right.
It's certainly very disturbing, though, I have to say. I mean, the obvious solution to this would be to just take those fucking models out the game, and then they should be able to go back
develop
on there.
your fucking game, yeah.
Yeah, maybe stop stealing other people's content.
Yeah. I wonder what the discussion would be if this was just a game where, Activision thought that it was stuff that was similar, but it wasn't, or it was something smaller than like gun usage, like that kind of stuff. One of those things where it was a little more vague. Like this seems very clear and cut.
It's
like
very
they
cut and
totally
dry,
stole this.
I think.
Yeah, they stole this shit. It's very obvious. But I wonder what the feedback would be if it was something that was borderline, maybe not. Like no one really knew. Like then I think there'd be much more of a concern. But I feel like
Totally.
on this, like for this, example, everyone's like, oh yeah, no, that's bullshit. They stole that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It
Wallace
definitely is.
He's not a fan of theft.
No.
He's not even in here anymore. I don't even know
Yeah.
where he is that he's barking.
Oh, he's out right outside my door.
Oh.
Just losing his shit about piracy. So
Yeah.
He hates that stuff, man.
he hates it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice
I
or
certainly think in this case that
justice.
like the process is disturbing, but it was used correctly in this instance.
Right.
So, and it will be interesting if somehow they are able to prove that those guns existed before Black Ops 3 came out or whatever. But it looks like that is clearly not true.
Look at that blue thing. That blue thing is
It's
like
so obvious.
it's so complex. Yeah.
It's very, very obvious, and what gets me as well is that they tried to misrepresent it by posting like really dodgy comparison shots of like, no, that you posted this at a completely different angle on purpose, and then when someone went in game and checked it, it's like, oh yeah, this is totally the same thing.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have like its ammo drum in the official comparison.
That's actually true. Yeah, they deliberately like left the magwell empty like on purpose and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, this is not. You're trying to bullshit people. Don't try and bullshit people on the internet. There are people that have nothing better to do. Trust me, they will find out your bullshit.
Absolutely. You can't
Yeah.
tell a lie on the internet, you crazy?
You really cannot.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You can't lie on the internet.
Unless
Yeah.
you say it enough.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
the
it
big
becomes
lie.
reality. Yeah.
Yeah, the big lie works, but something like this, which can be very easily proven otherwise, no, people are going to call you on your bullshit real quick. Yeah. Shame. But, because, again, that game has got better than it was. It's actually not terrible now, but it's hard to support a company that clearly is, has stolen from other indies and done really shady shit, which these guys have. So.
And why the fuck would you steal from Activision of
Of
all
all
the companies?
people.
Yeah, of all the sleeping monsters that you could poke with a stick.
It's like their lawyers are just raring to go. They're like bored, and someone finds out, like the fucking bat signal goes off. It's just a briefcase in the sky. It's like, away to the litigious mobile.
They just call. They're like, oh, the signal.
And off they go. Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of fun with that one. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see what else there is on the news. Do you want to talk about this Twitch cheering thing? Like, is that something that you would like to discuss? Like, Alex, do you stream on a regular basis?
I don't stream on a regular basis, but I'm fairly aware of the cheer situation and the controversy around it.
Sure.
Just so everybody knows, if we are going to talk about it, since I'm part of the program, I'm under contract. I'm NDA'd on certain information, so there's a lot of this that I won't be able to take part in. But speculate away.
Sure. Yeah.
So, wait, can I ask, so is
you
it only
can't. We can't talk
certain
about the
people?
split, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
Is it only certain people that have access to this ability?
They're like 50
For
people
now.
who are part of the beta of this cheering program, so they're like trying it out right now and seeing how it goes.
All right. I just want to bring this up before we even start.
Yeah. So
Cheering is a donation process, yes?
Sort of, yeah.
It's what's called micro donations. So the idea is that
Well, donations are the wrong word though, right? Because you can't
Are they?
like write these off.
Well, you can't write donations off anyway unless you're a charitable organization. It counts as income.
I just mean like donating to some. It's not like you're giving them. I mean, I guess you are. It's like tipping. It's like
Tip. All right. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
We'll use tip for the time being. Yeah. So it's a micro tipping system, and the whole point is that rather than giving, just going on PayPal and giving $5 to your favorite streamer, you buy this imaginary currency called bits, and you buy a certain number of them, and you can buy a lot of them for not a lot of money. And what you can do is you can then distribute your bits. This entire fucking conversation is going to be nothing
Look,
but
the
jokes
jokes have
about
been
this.
so good. Like being able to put bits in Sam's chat. Everybody's like, "Oh man, Dodger's throwing her bits around." Just good.
How
Love it
many?
all. I love all of it.
How much innuendo are we going to get in this conversation? A lot. I'm going to try
Guys.
for the most.
I mean,
Guys,
it rhymes with tits. How do they not think that bits for tits was going to be a thing? Like that
you
is
don't even need to do
literally
that. Bits is a euphemism for your genitals. It's not difficult. You can just go with
bits
that.
for tits, man. No, it's
Show me your bits.
Bitstribution. Come
Indeed.
on.
So you can share your bits with as many people as you'd like. And, you can give them a lot of your bits or not so many of your bits, not
just
so much
the tip of your
them.
bits. I'm just going to give you the tip of my bits.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it's a tipping service, right? You
is
you
a
tip
tip
with your
service.
bits. You get
Tip
the
your
tip of
bits.
your bits. Oh, Jesus God. And what happens when you donate one of these is that it does what's called a cheer, which is basically it shows an animated icon in the chat, which represents like, hey, I gave this person 1,000 bits. Yay, you're awesome kind of thing. And at the end of the month, those bits are converted into money and they are paid along with the regular paycheck to the Twitch partner.
At the end of the month?
I believe it's at the end of the month, yeah. Because, I mean, you're paid every 30 days on Twitch. So it will be in your paycheck. And I assume there's probably a separate section of your analytics that say, this is the money you were donated. And, of course, Twitch takes a percentage. Can we talk about what that percentage is? No, because the only person that does know is under NDA not to tell you. So, no, we can't actually tell you
there
that.
are lots of rumors going around.
Yes, there are lots of
I can't
rumors.
deny any of them.
Let's just put it that way. What we do know is that Twitch does take a percentage of this in some way. How much? We don't know.
Do we know their position on third-party donations going forward?
They have not stated a position on that. From what I'm going to make an assumption that they don't do a damn thing about them, because I think that if they make any effort at all,
It's a nightmare. It's a
PR nightmare. No, it would be awful for them to do, and I think they know that. That would be one of the only things I think that would actually make people leave Twitch en masse, and that's very hard to do. So a lot of people bring up this idea of, why don't you just go to a different streaming service? Because Twitch is the only really big one that has any actual audience. Like, if anyone wanted to move off Twitch, they lose all of their paying subscribers, and they basically lose most of their audience, not to mention any incidental audience that you get from people being on Twitch, because people go to Twitch to find stuff to watch. It's just like YouTube, It's like turning on the television. If you move to a service where that doesn't happen, you don't get any of those viewers. You don't get discovered. Nobody fucking finds you. That's why nobody uses these other services unless they're really either forced to or paid a huge amount of money to.
Right. Which seems a little draconian when you first talk about it, right? But when you think about it a little bit more, like for me at least, I mean, it doesn't really affect my livelihood at all. So maybe it's different because I don't have that passion that certain Twitch streamers are. But like, first of all, betting on the generosity of your fan base as like a way to rely on, for money is already like, you got to know the risks inherent to that.
absolutely.
I'm not going to make a judgment call on that because that's just like, I never thought that I was going to have this job even when I got involved in this. But like, for me, like, it looks like Twitch is just like, like they're not running ads even. Like, we have no way of making money off these super famous people that are using our platform.
Why?
Yeah. And to me, like, I'm not super mad about this. I don't understand if as long as, I mean, obviously we don't know, but as long as the split is reasonable and as long as there's not a huge amount of action taken towards people who still just want to give their money on PayPal, I don't know why this is so hated. And I even see benefits to it.
I don't know that I think I'm with you is that I don't know why it's hated. I think I see it more along the lines of when you go to, like, especially arcades here in LA, how you put money on a card and then you use the card and then just the money vanishes off your card. You're like, well, that interesting. That didn't last as long as I thought it would. I think it's one of those things where, as a consumer, if you're using bits, it's one of those tricks where it's like, oh, well, you gave us your money. Now here's some bits that really have no value, and you can just throw them around.
You care less about it.
He's gone.
I mean, that is definitely one of the reasons behind these virtual currencies is that when you give real tangible money, you feel that leaving your pocket. When it comes to this, because you've already prepaid it. It's even the same as, like, let's say you have some money in your Steam wallet from, like, a refund or whatever. you probably find it's a bit easier to spend that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like you're spending anything.
Doesn't feel like it's real, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that, but there is something also to bear in mind on the positives. Like, I can't give, let's say I want to give Dodger 20 cents because I'm a cheap motherfucker. And it turns out I actually can't, because if I try to do that, PayPal's going to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
So when you have a system like this, you can give a very small amount of money to a lot of people, or very, very regularly. Which means that instead of you being reliant on a small number of large donations, you can be reliant on a large number of small donations.
Right.
And you can't do that with real money. So that is one benefit of this.
Or like, what was it, like a week or two ago, there was that guy who, like, Twitch finally had to, like, throw the gauntlet down and be like, no, we're not going to refund. Where it was
the
like,
$50,000 fake donation. Yeah, I think this may also be in response to the amount of chargeback donations that are happening as well.
Yeah, because there's protection against chargebacks with these as well. The second that you use them in chat, it's gone. You don't have it anymore.
Because you pre-purchased them. So I think it's a lot harder to run a chargeback on something like that. Although I think it's still possible. It would just be more difficult.
I guess the big question that I have is, why, until everyone knows what the split is, like, how much does this PayPal take out? Like, it's one of those things where I don't know why you would switch. Right? If PayPal is working fine, then why would you switch?
So it's I believe PayPal's about
less steps.
Yeah, so PayPal's about, I think, 3% plus 30% flat. So, the big point that I just made is that PayPal eats any donation below, like, 30 cents. Like, it's gone. Right. You can't make a donation like that. As to why people would switch, I don't think it's about switching, honestly. I think it is... it's providing another service that runs in tandem. There's nothing stopping you doing both.
Hopefully.
Especially considering one's built into the UI. You don't need to set anything up. With this, you need to set up PayPal and usually Twitch alerts and a third-party donation service to handle that through it. You don't have to do that with this. It's built into the interface. This may also mean that some people that were not willing to donate through a third party don't have a PayPal account or anything like that, they're more willing to do it through an official service. So you could, in theory, run both. Secure. But your point is valid that Twitch is probably taking more than what PayPal would in the majority of transactions.
Yeah.
So obviously people are going to be annoyed about that because they're making less money. Assuming you've got to, things with that, you got to make an assumption that Twitch bits just cannibalized, your bits just ate up all of your donations from PayPal, which is never going to happen. Like, that 100% cannibalization rate is not going to happen.
If somebody wants to give you $100, they're probably going to still use PayPal. But if if somebody has never ever donated to you before, or those people that are on there that are like, I really want to donate, but it's not worth it, and I don't know how, and I'm 13, if you really do want to donate, and I see how this could be abused in a Smurf-like way, but if it wasn't, if your parent was like, okay, well, you want to like donate to some Twitch streamers that you like you want to like support them, great. Here's $100. Use it over the course of a month, and now that's somebody who never would have donated before donating. You know what I mean? Like, it encourages it, and I think that's the upside, is that you're going to get donations from people who maybe wouldn't before. I think hopefully, I mean, I'm trying to be positive about it. I don't see a downside to it other than that it's...
Other than that cut. I think that's mostly what people are complaining about, is the split, and that they don't know what the split is. Because before, Twitch wasn't taking any of their donation money. And now Twitch is trying to take their donation money. They're not forcing that because they haven't banned third-party donations, and I don't think they ever will. But they are trying to take a piece of it. And what you mentioned, Alex, earlier is really what a lot of people do not understand. That a lot of people are not running ads anymore.
Right.
Which means Twitch is making nothing. They're actually making a loss on most people's streams.
Yeah, if I didn't go to watch Dodger, for example, I tune in every day to watch Dodger every time she streams.
Hypothetically, if you liked Dodger.
Yeah, if I actually liked it, mm-hmm. Like legitimately, like if I just stumble across you and I'm watching you for like 20 minutes and then a commercial starts rolling,
You're out. You're
I
gone.
have no allegiance to you. I'm gonna dip.
Yeah, that's something that I think everyone understands on Twitch, that the ad break, you lose, like people leave.
You lose. I think I have lost literally thousands of viewers on an ad break. In fact, the podcast actually loses anywhere between 500 to 1,000 people on an ad break. Always. Every time.
Well, because it gives them that, like, oh shit, I've been watching this for an hour thing. Like, I guess I should probably go live my life. And as an entertainer, you're like, no, motherfucker, I want you all 3 hours.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of
real
that.
talk.
Plus the casual
Yeah.
viewers, you know, people that just stumbled across the show that are not regular viewers, they're probably going to watch up until the ad, and then that's going to be it, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, you can also, of course, make the argument that, yes, you know, subscribers do mitigate the fact that Twitch is not making money, because Twitch does get a split from subs. But one, not every channel has subs. In fact, a lot of channels don't. And secondly,
like most don't by a large margin.
yes, actually, that you're completely right there, that most of them don't. I think that people, they see the top channels and they assume everyone has sub. They actually really, really don't.
Right.
That, you know, that only the minority of partners actually have that. And secondly, a lot of them don't push it or don't have a lot of subs, you know? Like, this channel has a lot of subscribers. Like, it's, as far as I can tell, it's one of the top sub channels on Twitch. That is a tiny minority. That is not
It's
representative.
okay. I mean, it
of
could
how
be
mu-
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you cheat. You have a one-off $3 payment, you motherfucker. You know, you're probably the top sub
That's
guy
right,
on
I
Twitch.
do.
That's the only reason you fucking did it as well.
That's
Because you
right,
want to
I
be
do.
number one and you cheated. That's what you did. You broke the
You're damn
rules
right
to
I
do
did.
it. You egotistical son of a bitch. God. So, you know, Twitch is paying for a massive infrastructure, huge content network delivery system, a lot of staff. I mean, Twitch is a huge company now. They have hundreds of employees. And a lot of people are choosing not to run ads anymore because they don't make a lot of money by ads and they lose viewers when they post the damn things.
Which, quite honestly, is pretty chill of Twitch to like have not done anything
Really
about that
crack
thus
down on
far.
that. Yeah, I mean, I remember when Machinima was forcing people to have mid-rolls like every 8 minutes in their content. Like, they literally put them in there without people even telling, you know, without...
Yeah.
And Machinima isn't even being charged to host content. That's YouTube paying for that. And Machinima's still like, no, you gotta run an ad every 8 minutes, you motherfucker. You know? Twitch has never forced anybody to run ads outside of the pre-roll that's on people's channels. That's it. And most people have chosen not to do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see big, like, I'm not gonna say big picture. They see like a periphery picture. I don't even know how to describe this. In that they see Twitch takes money from subs, Twitch takes money from ads, Twitch takes money from like every aspect, and they're like, Twitch is taking so much of my money. But it's also, you know, a hosting platform for what you're doing. It is like, it's how you're getting, like, there's all sorts
You
of
have, yeah,
consider.
it's valuable to you. It's valuable to us
It is.
as well.
Yeah.
Like we should not feel weird about paying Twitch for providing the service of Twitch. Does that
Right?
make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it is a company trying to make money. And, you know, bear in mind, we're saying this as people that are actually directly affected by this system, you know, who, I don't have cheers on. I don't know if I will put them on because I've never really taken donations. It's not part of our business
Ain't nobody
model.
called me about Cheers, so I don't got that shit.
You know, so I don't know what's going on with that. We may use it, we may not. You know, there's arguments about leaving money on the table. There's arguments about, you know, well, do we want to have donations? A lot of people have to use donations, though. Because, let's be honest, streaming, especially if you're just running ads, is not a sustainable business model unless you are a big, big fucking channel. You can't do it.
Right.
The ads are not worth enough. If you've got 200, 300 viewers and you run an ad, you know how much money you're going to make? Not a fucking lot.
Then again,
you know?
that shouldn't be your plan.
No,
anyway.
no, it shouldn't.
But like, if you're using the system, it feels weird not to. It feels weird to purposefully cut out Twitch from the process.
Yeah, and I think Twitch has felt weird about that for a while, and they've been trying to figure out a way to do it. As to
It's
how they implemented it,
every other streaming platform has something similar to this.
they actually
Even
do.
YouTube has tips, even though it's barely like pointed at. It exists there.
It
You can
does,
tip
yeah.
on
So,
YouTube.
that does still exist. I was on my channel the other day and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Twitch, YouTube fan funding is a thing. They take a percentage of that. Obviously, YouTube Red is a thing. They take a percentage of that. You know, the only kind of thing that I have a real problem with on Twitch is that Turbo is a piece of shit. I think if
Yeah.
Turbo was better, then I would maybe be, you know, less annoyed whenever Twitch tries to monetize something else about the platform. It's like, fix Turbo first. Make Turbo less shitty.
I wonder if they're just going to get rid of it.
I kind of hope so, but they're making money from basically doing nothing with Turbo, so why would they get rid of it?
I guess.
I don't know. If what I was spending on Turbo was going towards me buying bits, you know, and I'm buying bits all the time to give to people, it seems a little bit more valuable.
It's one of those things where the more you look at Turbo, the more it makes YouTube Red look like a valuable thing.
Red is a valuable thing. Red's always been a valuable thing. Turbo's
comparatively, comparatively, Turbo is like
Adblock.
Yeah, Turbo's pretty garbage.
Turbo gives you nothing, and we don't earn anything from it either. But I'm going to say this to everybody, and Twitch is probably going to get really upset about me for saying this. If you bought Turbo to support us, I'm really sorry. You got conned. It doesn't help. Like, what Turbo does is that it pays us for the ad that you would have seen that isn't displayed for you. Guess what? That's worth nothing. I'm sorry, it's not. Like, a single ad view is worth nothing. YouTube Red is good because a percentage of that subscription fee goes into a giant pool, and then you get a payout at the end of every month based on your viewer numbers. And let me tell you, that is a significant chunk of change. For our channel, holy shit.
It wound up being, like, definitely nothing to sniff at. Like, it's
absolutely
been beneficial for sure,
especially
with the CPM drops over the years.
And Red hasn't even been rolled out in all countries yet. Red is only going to get better.
That's right. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, Red's only available in a couple of different countries. Once it's worldwide, Red is going to be hugely beneficial to almost every YouTube partner. Big or small, doesn't matter.
Yep.
But Turbo is shit, so stop it. Please stop buying Turbo. Unless you really want to support Twitch. Unless you really want to support Twitch and get that, clean conscience ad blocking, instead of blocking ads through a third-party system.
If your blood is in fact purple, then go for it.
Then sure.
If that's your thing.
I have Turbo.
You actually do bleed purple.
Yeah, if you bleed purple, then that's your thing.
Go to the hospital.
Yeah. Also that, yeah. I have Turbo because I would feel like a hypocritical piece of shit if I blocked ads. Because obviously my living is based on ads. So no. So if I've got a legitimate way of accessing content on a site without blocking ads, I will absolutely do that. So that's what Twitch is for. But ultimately, I think
it seems like it just exists to mitigate that goddamn it feeling that you feel the moment you log into a Twitch and it like hops to an ad. Like
it's a lot of that.
I would pay $400 to get rid of this.
To stop this. Yeah, it really is like get rid of this inconvenience. I get mad every time my iPad logs me out of Twitch. I'm like, I'm going to watch a Twitch stream on my iPad. And then it's like, Mountain Dew. No!
Fuck you. No, fuck you, sir.
I paid to get Mountain Dew out of my life. Fuck you. And then I'll log in as quickly as possible. Like, oh, okay, we're good. No ads on Twitch for a while. Great. Yeah. But as I say, I think the system has numerous benefits. I think it will be interesting to see what a swarm of micro donations does versus a few big donations. I think that actually might work quite well.
Oh man, that'd be a great, like, if it's one of those, like, if every one of you just gave me $1, like, I imagine that could.
Hell, if every one of us gave us 10 cents, I mean, that sounds like nothing, but yeah, it's the power of the cloud.
That's that Superman shit, man. That's that 0.3% of a penny adds up every once in a while.
I mean, it really is that. And, you see stuff like, Dodge, you've had a subtrain happen to you. And no, that's not as filthy as it sounds. Jesse, you have subtrains all the time.
There's one happening right now.
Yeah, he's got a subtrain. Subtrains and donation trains happen, and I think Twitch realized that and tried to build a system around it. And honestly, it's like Alex accurately pointed out, which a lot of people don't know. This system is really fucking common. Like, Afrika in Korea has been doing this for like a decade.
Forever.
Balloons. You pay balloons to people to watch them eat. That is a freak.
Yep.
The most popular streams on Afrika are StarCraft Brood War and eating.
Yeah. Side note: Twitch also now has a category called social eating. So
Oh, they have mukbang? All right.
Enjoy.
Dude, I'm gonna dabble.
Yep.
Right? Oh my God! Can we just do that? Oh.
There you go.
Let's just transition out of gaming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
man.
want to learn your Korean, the Korean term for that is mukbang, by the way.
Yeah,
which I
mukbang.
believe literally translates to food porn, actually, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, mukbang is a thing.
Monk
Let's
bomb.
go.
Yeah, man, I could not have imagined a couple of years ago when I asked Twitch if it would be okay to do a 24/7 chinchilla stream, and they told me no, that they'd eventually open up social eating.
Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yep. Next,
Bob
can I
Ross.
have my chinchilla stream now, Twitch? Now that you've finally stopped pretending to be just a gaming site, can I have my chinchilla stream? 24/7 chinchillas with OC remix music. You could not ask for a better stream than that.
Yeah.
Be amazing. All right, let's do releases, shall we? Dodge, did I send you the release list? I hope I did.
I do. I have it. I have it right here.
Cool. All right, the releases, the exciting
Okay,
releases.
so today, June 28th, we have Technomancer, which we talked about
I
earlier
don't
on
think
the
it's
show, and if
very
you missed it, you
good.
can go back and find out about it.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Go check it out.
So
Alex is
great.
a liar.
Patrick Mage's best game of our era.
He's a swindler, is what he is.
Zach
Electromagnets.
Manser.
Next
Zach
game
Manser.
is called Nightfall Escape.
I still can't believe they called him Zach Manser. Jesus Christ.
Nightfall Escape.
Nightfall Escape. It puts you in the shoes of a field journalist who is on
Is
a
that
mission
May?
to it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Who is on a mission to investigate the mysterious disappearance in a remote area. So it seems like a first-person sort of survival horror puzzly thing.
Yeah, it looks like jump scare.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Fun.
Next.
Next up is called Chicken Assassin, Master of Humiliation.
Yep.
Okay. This is not a Fable spin-off, I assume. Epic action RPG, full of sarcastic and hilarious characters. I don't believe you. Rich artwork, beautifully structured class and inventory, upgrade, wardrobe, and achievement systems make it you are literally a well-muscled chicken.
Great.
I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah.
I mean, this does not look quite as awful as I initially expected, but it doesn't look good either, I have to admit. Oh,
All right.
dear God.
Next up is Lego Star Wars, which I
Yep,
don't
Force
think
Unleashed, yep.
that much.
I actually am going to play that. I watched the trailer for it at E3, and I found it to be adorably compelling and funny. So I think I might play that.
There's something like Buddhist about like slowly completing a Lego Star Wars game.
Oh, God, 'cause it
sound-
takes so long to get everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
It's
the
like
sound of like
collectathon.
clacking pieces is really satisfying to me.
Oh, totally. In every Lego game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a copy of Lego Indiana Jones in a geocache for the DS, and I like played it for like 90 hours or something.
All right. So June 29th, we have Starters Orders 6-horse racing.
What?
I mean, I'm going to assume it's a horse racing game with
I
6
would
of them
too.
in it. It's an in-depth horse racing management simulator. Train a string of horses, breed new horses, take the role of the jockey. It has Oculus Rift support coming, so you can ride the fucking horses in VR.
Great.
Yep.
Next up, we have Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma.
Oh, yes,
That's a big one. Yeah.
It is, actually, yeah. The Zero Escape games have been very kind of twisted puzzle games.
I dig them. I'm into them.
Oh, interesting.
Good reason
Yeah.
to own a Vita.
It actually is, yeah. Zero.
Whoa!
There's a
What
lot of
is this game
crazy shit
about?
going on with Zero Escape, yeah. Not that well known, but it's starting to become a bit more popular. Again, it was like Zero Escape, the last one was on Vita, and then there was one on DS, I think, which was like 9 Doors, 9 something or other that you
Yeah.
called it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It is very, very interesting, very unusual. It's got some weird decision making. It reminds me of Saw, honestly. It's very
It's
Saw,
crazy.
but done by
Dude,
Japan.
This game, yes.
Yeah. I actually might play it because I'm not usually into puzzle games, but I do like the kind of a Saw aspect to it and the high tension stuff, so I might play this one.
I played Virtue's Last Reward or whatever. That one was
That
good.
was the Vita one, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was neat.
Cool.
Well, next up on June 30th, we have Awakened.
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 That's a terrible logo. It looks like it's
Got 'em.
falling over. It's like the W just gave up and died. In this indie horror game dubbed Awakened, you'll play side-scroller levels, first-person view 3D environments, top-down stealth levels, puzzles, and more. It sounds like they're trying to do way too much. I gotta be honest. It's a series of mini-games that tie together into a horror. Okay.
Into a horror.
Into a horror, huh? Next.
Next up is Shepherds of the Abyss.
Well, there's quite the name. It's got a cool logo. Summon powerful shepherds from Wales. Use their ability to lead the assault on your enemy base in multiplayer tower defense. Shepherds level up during combat and can be customized by progressing their abilities and equipping powerful items. So it's a multiplayer tower defense game of sorts.
Alrighty. Next up is the Temporal Invasion.
The Temporal Invasion. Do you want to feel like a real mystery solver and explorer? Experience the story-driven, mind-bogglingly realistic riddle game based on alternate history, murder mystery, history, X-Files, and science fiction. You are free to use any resource to solve it. So I think this might be one of those games where, like, there's shit on the internet that you have to look up and all that kind of thing.
It's like an alternate reality game kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very, very argy by the looks of it, which could be cool if it's well done.
Yeah, I'll give that a look.
I would love for those to make a big comeback. That was a great, like, about 8 or 9 years ago, that was like the vogue.
Man, do you remember when Secret World did that shit in an MMO? Where they literally had to set up websites and stuff like that? God, I wish that game's combat wasn't as bad as it was, because that game had some really interesting shit in it.
There was a game called, like, Phoenix or something like that. That was about a serial killer that was really good, where you, like, get, like, a police email address.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that. I really love those types of games. That's why I really liked Her Story.
Yeah, that was why people loved that too, because it felt like you were in a procedural crime drama of sorts, and it really gave you that awesome feeling. People ask why, like, because, like, Her Story's not a game. It's like, oh, it totally is, because you're trying to figure out what happened, and that is the game,
It's really immersive. Yeah, it's like legitimately immersive. This actually looks really cool.
It actually does, yeah. It looks like it's well put together. It's got some good art assets and shit. I'm a sucker for things stuck to the screen with virtual sticky tape. Just a thing of mine. Next.
This next game looks pretty cool. It's called Klepto. It's a burglary simulator.
Okay, cool. There's actually a free demo for this too. It's in early access right now.
It's early access. It looks like it has a VR option, but it's not required, maybe?
Virtual reality burglary. I cannot imagine how the media is going to take this one. But apparently it's like an open world sandbox neighborhood, and you can choose what to steal. It's got multiplayer co-op and stuff. Got lockpicking and safe cracking, and there's a bunch of other shit coming in. Residential hacking, like literally hacking a person's Wi-Fi network, is apparently coming in there. That's a really neat idea, actually.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
Looks pretty good. Yeah.
The description: you'll explore, terrorize, and loot your way to success.
Perfect.
There's a counter on the website for how many toasters have been stolen, so I'm
steal all the toasters.
I'm charmed.
Mm-hmm. On July 1st, we have Killbot.
Killbot Dead Zone. It literally encaps its description as zombie co-op shooter.
Great.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, all right. Real co-op against the zombie is part of the feature. That's
against the zombie.
Against the zombie. I guess there's only one of them. Download free full version and enjoy unlimited play.
Against the zombie.
Features. Mission.
Mission.
It's mission. Just mission. I can't wait for mission.
And survival.
Oh, my God. Next.
Can you please read the description on Steam for this next game as well? It's called Abyss Cave.
What?
Abyss Cave.
Abyss Cave. Please read it out loud. Don't read it ahead of time.
Got it. Okay, coming in. Here we go. As a member of an elite squad, you penetrate into an abyss myriad meters deep, fighting against unknown creatures. Survive and explore this huge underground world. What am I supposed to be looking at here?
Meters? What the fuck is that word?
I don't think that's a real word.
I was like, you penetrate into an abyss myriad meters.
Myriad meters. So a myriad meter. We're going to learn something on this damn show.
I think
To help compare different orders of magnitude, this page lists lengths between 10 and 100 kilometers. The myriameter, 10,000 meters, is a deprecated unit name. The decimal metric prefix myria, sometimes written as myrio, is obsolete and not included among the prefixes with the International System of Units that was introduced in 1960. So literally, this is an ancient...
No, but how many inches is that, though? How many feet?
Fuck your inches. Not literally.
That's not a myriameters. It should be in
not
feet.
real if you can't convert it into...
well, you totally fucking can. I can convert 10,000 meters into inches. Yes, okay. 10,000 meters into inches is 393,700.8 inches.
Well, why
nice
did they
round
say
number.
that?
Nice round number of inches.
Yeah.
So 10 kilometers, by the way, is equal to 10,000 meters, 6.2 miles, 1 mil, the Scandinavian mile, 1 pinenkolma, which is a Finnish unit of measurement.
The Scandinavian mile is actually 6 miles?
No, the Scandinavian mile is 1 mil, which is 11,295 meters in Norway and 10,688 meters in Sweden. And it's also equivalent to 1 farsang, a unit of measure commonly used in Iran and Turkey.
Well, that's the no wonder.
So the next game.
You learned
looks pretty.
something today.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, it does. The next game is called Grand Pigeon's Duty.
Again, with that fucking pigeon game. That's 4 weeks in a row now. When is that ever going to come out? It's not, is it?
Cool, moving on. Next game is called Cthulhu Realms.
Oh, this is basically a retheme of Star Realms, but with madness, Cthulhu, and cartoon. Yeah, it plays very much like Star Realms does, but instead you're playing a kind of comical Cthulhu, Lovecraftian theme with goons. You can play hired goons, and you make your aim is to make your opponent go mad. It's probably pretty fucking cool because, as I say, Star Realms is awesome, really awesome game.
Yeah, I love Star Realms actually.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I know the artist on Star Realms, and he gave me a deck last time I saw him at PAX, and I was like, this is actually really cool.
It really is. The games that White Wolf makes are just fucking awesome. White Wizard, sorry, not White Wolf. White Wolf makes Vampire. That's not the same thing. Next.
July 2nd, we have Fly Glow Fly, which looks like it's a logic puzzle game where you play a little glow fly.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Next.
Next up is Alchemist Penguin.
I'm sorry, it was.
Great.
Alchemist Penguin.
Expansion for Club Penguin.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got MOBA elements and dungeon crawling in it, just like Club Penguin does now. I mean, that's a great name for a game. It also looks like it was made in the era of Chip's Challenge, which it does not look new. Take control of the Alchemist Penguin in a relentless battle against his dinosaur aggressors, obviously. Face off against a never-ending army of dinosaurs with increasing difficulty, weapons, potions, blah, blah, blah. It looks very, very basic. Let me put it that way. Next.
All right, July 4th, Unbreakable VR Runner.
Great title.
Yep,
Yeah.
also known as Motion Sickness Simulator, probably.
I was going to say, a VR runner sounds like the worst mistake.
I would not. I would not. It's a coin collecting game. No. Next.
Great. Last up, we have Deep Space Dash.
Deep Space Dive.
I was ready for you to say Dad right until that last
Deep
moment.
Space Dad.
I'd play the shit out of Deep Space Dad. I can't wait for Dad by the Sword. Have you seen Dad by the Sword? The premier Dad Sword Simulator. It looks brilliant.
Dad by the Sword.
Yeah. Deep Space Dash is a space runner, so you're in a spaceship and it's a runner, basically. But yeah, Dad by the Sword, man. You need to check out Dad by the Sword.
The art style looks insane.
Yes. The game apparently has it sounds stupid, but it's a surprising good simulation of actual swordplay.
I love that he's wearing like a Rolex.
Yes.
No, he has a collared shirt on. Yeah.
Yeah. Dad by the Sword.
Dad. This is my kind of game.
It looks hilarious, very physics based, but also an actual really good sword sim. The description of Dad by the Sword is amazing. Dad by the Sword is a game about your dad, in all caps, running around in jorts and slaying anti-dads with a claymore. Experience a unique first-person swordplay experience as you try not to get killed by hot dogs. Outsmart your enemies, destroy weak points in their armor, and then slice through them.
Yes.
Yes. Jesus.
We
I
laugh
love
at this, but this could be a game from the fucking 90s that came out on Sega Genesis.
It totally could. I love the fucking description. It's, in brackets, fill in recent popular game you liked, meets, in brackets, barely related popular thing you also liked, meets, in brackets, I don't know, some game with a dad in it, close brackets. Pretend I said it's Dark Souls meets Heavy Rain meets Octodad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
It's Dark Messiah meets Skyward Sword meets your dad meets Spelunky. I'm sorry, but I'm buying the shit out of this game when it comes out. Oh my
Holy
fucking
shit.
God.
I
All
love
right.
this flaccid sword gif. Great.
Oh, the flaccid sword where it's just all floppy. It's impotent sword dad. All right, folks, that is us done for the day. Thank you very much for watching the content patch. But we want the content patch? What the fuck? What am I even doing anymore?
You lost it.
I don't even know the name of my own show.
This has been Blue Please. Thank you all.
Thank you for watching Blue Please.
Oh, fucking hell. Alex, please save the show by telling me what you got, what's coming up on your channel in the next couple weeks. Where can we find you? What are your projects?
Well, you can come see our newest video today, which is on Fion, on my channel, which is written straight below me there.
TheNationalDex.
Yeah, that's my Pokemon channel.
Cool.
So it's very educational and it's very kid friendly. So
Where
go
you learn
check
about
that
bugs,
out.
right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to fuck Gerard in Asagao Academy right now on Super Beard Bros. So go check that out.
As it should be.
I mean,
I'm gonna get him.
You?
I'm gonna get him too. I'm gonna get him good.
Jesse and I still have to play that together.
Who you guys gonna
Can't wait.
try and bed?
We'll have to
Bone
discuss
Jontron.
that
You
in
got
a
a Bone
moment.
Jontron, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Satch, I feel like, is the guy I want to bone.
He's just that's the canon ending in my
Is he?
in my heart. That's
The dark meat.
you should end up with Satchel.
Jimmy's in there, right?
Jimmy Wetzel? Yeah, he's in there.
I feel like I could not. I would be like, you're a baby. I can't.
I have no. Jimmy, that's the. Yeah, no, that's the.
Fuck.
No.
I don't know
Oh.
anything. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about the game because I don't want to get spoiled. But I will tell you that spoilers for the ending. I will have his
Gerard's
ass.
butt.
Yeah,
Gerard's ass.
I will have it.
I will have that sweet ass.
Yeah.
Sweet ass.
Jesus.
I'll
God.
get that shit. I'll get
How
that
did
shit.
we get to this point as a human race? What happened?
Who knows? And also, I guess Resident Evil with Jesse today, Scary Game Squad.
Yeah.
So go check that out.
Oh man. On that theme, Jesse, what's going up on the channel other than Scary Game Squad?
Yo, you can watch Dodger and I play Life is Strange, where she knows what happens and I have no clue, and overthink
game is tight.
everything. I overthink literally everything to the nth degree, and she sits there and laughs at me. because
There's
she
so many
knows what
moments
I'm
where
on.
he's just trying to piece it all together, and I have to sit there like,
And then she looks at me and gives this weird face. I'm like, what? What?
I'm trying not to smile, but I'm also trying not to frown. So I just look at him like,
So I'm a big dummy, and you can go watch that, and that is on my channel as well. And I now don't have to be traveling around the world, so I'm back and I'm streaming, and so there's a schedule on twitch.tv/Shabuzi.
Cool.
There you go.
Dodger, what's going on the channel this week?
I just put up a video talking about my Anime Expo schedule. I'm going to be a guest again this year, and that's up this upcoming weekend, so I'm very excited about that. My news video is going up today. Actually, it is currently uploading, so that's a couple of days late, but it is happening. Currently, we're uploading VODs from Stories, Path of Destinies. We did get the true ending, so I'm excited.
Would you say that it's too late to say sorry that you made your video that late, Dodger?
Sorry.
Calm down, Peeves.
I don't even remember where I was.
Perfect.
Go follow me
Nailed it.
on Twitter at Justin Bieber, and I'll see you on the internet.
Now I get what the reference is.
Sorry.
Every time one of them makes a sound, it like shows up big in our chat client, and it's great to watch them all just be like.
Oh dear. I don't know what the hell's coming up on the channel of this week. It very much depends on what the doc says tomorrow, so I ain't promising fucking anything. But hopefully something will come up. We're working on this new series After Hour, which is going down pretty well, where we check out a cool indie game and just tell you a little bit about it. And outside of that, I will most likely not be looking at Technomancer anymore, because I fucking hate that game, but I'll probably have to force my way through some more of it.
Electromage.
Zach Mancer.
Master.
Mancer. Fuck me, that's a great name.
I don't even know.
Zach
this point.
Mancer.
All I do know is we're going to be back at the same time next week at 3 p.m. Eastern. Our guest will be Level Cap at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit. If you happen to miss anything, head on over to youtube.com/CynicalBrits, which is where the VOD for this thing will reside, and we will not have the horrible video dropping that we got during the show because Twitch shit itself for whatever reason. Yeah, that'll be nice. I'll even edit out some of the mistakes, although the content patch one will get left in there, I think, just, for the sake of it. Thank you very much for watching the show, folks. Big thanks to our special guest, Mr. Alex Fasciani, for coming onto the show today.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Hey, thank you,
Hey,
guys.
Alex,
Thanks, bro.
great. Thanks for coming.
There's some sort of weird in joke I don't understand. Yeah,
There's nothing more than this.
That's
Good.
it. That's all this is.
I
That's all
agree.
it is.
All right,
That's
we're
all
done.
it
Thank you very
is.
much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.